what's my motivation?
You're the file clerk. You're running into the next room when you bump into Janet.
Well, what is our relationship? Are we good friends, or is she just a casual acquaintance?
Dolores, I have 5 days to complete this picture.
Tonight on our fourth Movies About Movies episode, we're talking about Tim Burton's 1994 anti-biopic, Ed Wood.
Beware. Beware of the big green dragon that sits on your doorstep. He eats little boys.
The anti-biopic is what the screenwriters Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski coined their specific type of biopics. At this point, the subgenre has branched out to include all kinds of non-standard biopics. But originally, the duo's anti-biopics were based around the type of cultural figures who would not usually get a biopic, lesser-known figures. Ed Wood was the first project they formulated in the style, but since then they've written The People vs. Larry Flynt, The Man on the Moon, where Jim Carrey famously played Andy Kaufman, Big Eyes, and Dolemite Is My Name. The duo had attended USC with Michael Lehman, where they had come up with the idea for a film about Ed Wood, even considering a documentary they would have called The Man in the Angora Sweater. Ed Wood was a little-known filmmaker in his time, someone who had struggled against the Hollywood studio system in the 1950s, which wanted no part of him and his merry band of weirdos, being a friend of drug addicts, homosexuals, transvestites, and outcasts living in LA. This was long before even a filmmaker like John Waters was able to get his hands on film equipment and really lean into the weirdness of his surroundings and friends. In fact, it was John Waters who had shown Johnny Depp Glenda and Plan 9 from Outer Space while they made Crybaby to help him understand outsider trash art. Eventually, Ed Wood settled into struggle with alcoholism and became a sexploitation director. But before that, in the 1950s, he was trying to be a mainstream filmmaker and failing badly. With the Hollywood studio system and even the B-movie and Z-movie studio system zealously guarding equipment and studio space away from upstarts.
So we're gonna be working together? Really? Worst film you ever saw? Well, my next one will be better.
And yet still low budget and using badly designed sets and unknown actors, although a friendship with Bela Lugosi and later with Vampira gave him some known actors too, he managed to make Glenda, originally the Christine Jorgensen story, but then adapted into a story about Ed Wood's own transvestitism and love of women's clothing. Bride of the Monster, Plan 9 from Outer Space, Night of the Ghouls, and The Sinister Urge, using tightrope funding from various sources, including the Baptist Church of Beverly Hills. In 1980, 2 years after Ed Wood's death from a heart attack, he was voted worst director of all time, which got people interested in his movies again.
I have no home. Haunted. Despised. Living like an animal. The jungle is my home. But I shall show the world that I can be its master.
After USC, Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski had written 2 films, the family films Problem Child and Problem Child 2, and they were very afraid they'd be permanently cast as family screenwriters. So they went to friend of show Michael Lehman, who was working on Heathers, and pitched the Ed Wood project. But he ended up leaving the project to do Airheads instead. Check out our 2 episodes with Michael Lehman on those movies. Lehman handed the treatment to his producer, Denise DeNovi, who had produced Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, and Nightmare Before Christmas. And she thought Tim Burton would be a great director for this film, too, which was correct.
You know, I mean, at least you're known for something, you know? and that beautiful passion that you have to have as a filmmaker where, you know, you think, you know, when he was making Plan 9, you know, he thought he was making Star Wars, you know? It's like, it's something where you just have that passion and that weird kind of family and the weird sort of delusion that you have when you're as a filmmaker that, you know, the passion, the belief that what you're doing. And so, you know, I just completely... You know, except for the women's clothing angle, I completely relate to him, you know? Yeah. But also, what you're saying, there was weird stuff on television at the time. And it was on Saturday afternoon, you know? This was on television on Saturday afternoon, for God's sakes. Well, no, I mean, I loved it. You know, I mean, I've been lucky to be able to because it's such a beautiful medium, you know?
The treatment was based on the biography, The Nightmare of Ecstasy, The Life and Art of Edward D. Wood, Jr., which Tim Burton dove into, as well as Ed Wood's letters. He was already a fan of Ed Wood's work as someone who saw himself as a weird outsider, and he also saw Ed Wood's relationship with Bela Lugosi much like his own early relationship with Vincent Price. Tim Burton was having problems with Columbia over Mary Riley, And funny enough, their insistence on casting Julia Roberts.
Played by a movie star.
A movie star playing a television star in a major motion
Roberts
picture.
would be good. Dolly Parton, Lily.
Because of where Burton was in his career, a bidding war ensued with Columbia, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Disney all wanting this project. Burton chose Disney, who had just done A Nightmare Before Christmas, and who put this under their Touchstone Pictures banner. That kind of bidding war was a problem Ed Wood would love to have. The film stars Johnny Depp as Ed Wood, Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi, Sarah Jessica Parker, Bill Murray, Jeffrey Jones, Patricia Arquette, Vincent D'Onofrio, Julia Landau, and Lisa Marie.
So I guess he interviewed a lot of young actresses, but I came in with an Angora sweater. And he loved Angora. And I had a couple of jobs and a car. So anyway, we fell in love, and we became actually a team. We worked together as a team. And the way the Ed Wood movie is, you'd never know that. They portrayed me sort of as an actress just out to get what I could get as a part. But I contributed all the wardrobe, because I worked for some of the top manufacturers of clothing, Westwood Knitting Mills, Chic Lingerie, Evans Bacone.
It's been criticized for Sarah Jessica Parker's portrayal of Dolores Fuller, including by the actual Fuller, which is a shame. Her time as Ed Wood's girlfriend was a big part of Ed Wood's career trajectory. It actually was a small interlude in her own, which she started out as a child actress in Capers That Happened One Night, and ended up writing some of Elvis's biggest songs, including many for Elvis's film Blue Hawaii, Rockahula Baby, Stepping Out of Line, as well as Do the Clam, Spin Out, Cindy Cindy, among many others, as well as the song Someone Tell It To by Nat King Cole. The real Dolores Fuller enjoyed the movie, but felt like her portrayal was unfair. It didn't show the depth of love she really had for Ed Wood, and how hard she worked to get funding for him. Bela Lugosi's family also criticized the fact that Lugosi didn't sleep in a coffin, didn't curse, or own small dogs. Bela Lugosi is a person who is hard not to give a short shrift, though. The depth of his life is hard to put on film. He was a famed Hungarian stage actor whose career was cut short when he participated in the 1919 Hungarian Communist Revolution. Tim Burton has freely admitted that he was too sympathetic to Ed Wood and tried to film this through his eyes rather than the eyes of anyone around him. Although Ed Wood was not a huge commercial success at the time, it was critically acclaimed, including getting 2 Oscars, Best Makeup, and Best Supporting Actor for Martin Landau.
Don't you want to do another take, Ed? Looks like Big Baldy had a little trouble getting through the door.
No, it's fine. It's real. You know, in actuality, Lobo would have to struggle with that problem every day.
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I am obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. We are live right now on This Space. If you aren't following them, join This Space TV on YouTube. Link below. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Kristina Oakes is a co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, a streamer on Twitch, twitch.tv/cosmopolitics, a host at This Space, hosting Kristina's Corner, and is across social media at Cosmopolitics and on Letterboxd at Kristina. Daniel House, the host of the Creative Asylum podcast, the former owner and president of CZ Records, and before that, the director of sales and distribution at Sub Pop Records, and the former bassist for multiple bands, including Skinyard. I, of course, am your host and the guy from Poughkeepsie back east, small all-American town, Forrest Miller. I need transvestites.
You also could have gone with you people are insane. You're wasting your lives making shit. Nobody cares. These movies are terrible.
I'm just a sweet transvestite. Oh, Ellen would
I
love
just like
Rocky Horror.
I like when Bela Lugosi walks in and he's like supposed to be pitching the movie to him, and on the phone he's like, "Get me transvestites. I need transvestites." He goes, "Eddie, what kind of movie is this?"
so good. Daniel Haas, welcome to the show, man. It's good to have you on. We got you muted. Let's unmute that. Ed Wood, man.
There we go. So I rewatched Ed Wood again for, I don't know, like the 12th time today, just because, I should be prepared. And for the first time, I watched Glenda this morning at like 8 a.m.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
It's worth it once. It's worth
watching
sure.
one time and one time only. Probably not much beyond that.
It's like watching. It's like when I was like Pink. I remember being like 11 years old watching like Pink Flamingos for the first time, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should be watching this.
There's 100% like a very spiritual connection between John Waters and Ed Wood. Like,
for sure.
I don't know. Like,
Ed Wood did die in 78.
Yeah. But especially learning the fact that Johnny Depp actually watched Glenda, and he watched Plan 9 from Outer Space for Crybaby. Like, that was like John Waters was trying to slowly like introduce him to outsider art.
It was given that Crybaby, love Crybaby, was given that little like campier Grease, like a B, like definitely like a B movie type of vibe.
Well, and I think it's interesting too that Ed Wood coming out was 94, right? So MST3K already existed, Mr. Science Theater 3000, for people not in the know. It started around 88, but it wasn't I think it kind of was reaching its nadir in the in like the late 90s, of which, some of at least it's not Planet 9, it's the one before it.
Channel.
It's the God, it had like 3 names, like the Atomic Bride of the whatever, what I'm talking about. But they featured just going off of what was in the intro, the couple Ed Wood films featured in some of those episodes that became popular as well, which is that when there was this sort of rise of both ironically appreciating something and then having an earnest appreciation for at least the enthusiasm, if not the craft itself, of making the film. And therefore, when this movie came out, I think it's interesting that it really leaned into the act of creation, and that being the most important thing, and like basically doing things with people you enjoy spending time with and doing things with, and like the craft less important.
Yeah. I also
some might say inessential.
Whatever,
Like all the mystery science 3000 kind of stuff too. Like it feels like that kind of starts with like the vampire, which makes it like so fascinating that like Vampira is like a character in the Ed Wood universe. Like, it gets fired in the middle of it, and then obviously Elvira like copies the exact same bit and goes on TV, and there's that long lawsuit where
Pee Wee Herman, like all like it kind of all that we gotta like give Ed Wood, his flowers for that, because I think without Ed Wood, we wouldn't have John Waters, we wouldn't have Paul Rubens, and obviously Tim Burton, we wouldn't have. It all really started with him because he was kind of like the early king of camp.
Yeah,
and, like Tim Burton, Z movies, like beyond even.
Tim Burton talks about the fact that he and it has to be like mystery Science 2000, like it has to be shows like that, because he's talking about how on Saturday afternoons or whatever he would turn on the TV and like that like Ed Wood movies and like that kind of Z production.
People do that on Twitch now.
Bride of the Monster is what I was thinking of, by the way, is the one that was on.
That was the one that came out in between Glenn and Glenda and Plan 9.
Right, and it's depicted in the movie, and just real quick, kind of like tagging the
Bride of the Atom.
Bride of the Atom, Bride of the whatever it is. I love how Vampira is like, wait, you got another one? Wasn't that last one Bride of the Atom? Oh, it's the same movie. Okay. I have a real problem with I'll just call it the Sharknado of it all with movies today, where it's like there's like, no, this is a bad movie, and look, we're just celebrating that this is a piece of crap.
And let's make 10 more.
Yeah, well, but it's not just the fact that there's 1,000 of them that is annoying, but it's the fact that it's not coming from any place that's earnest. It's coming from a very cynical place, and it took me a long time to figure out like, why do I just despise these movies to the core of my being, and I think Ed Wood is great, and that's really what it comes down to, is the earnestness and like the heart the well-meaning attempt.
Well, I even wonder, like, when he was making these films, was he thinking at all in terms of this is camp? I mean, whatever the word might have been, or did he really think that he was making some quality cinema?
Yeah, I think there was like from my understanding of like the interviews that I was watching that people have done from the time, he really did act like whatever he was making was going to be like the greatest movie of all time. Like he had some of that optimism, I guess.
Citizens Kane,
like,
who, you know? Like,
well, and yeah, what's so funny, by the way, that we're kicking off 2026 with Citizen Kane now, because I forgot about the Orson Welles scene, because it actually been a while since I've seen this.
Yeah,
and I love that he, like, in the movie, and this is obviously a Burtonism, who knows if this actually happened or not, but it's addressing Orson Welles, like, as a peer. Oh, yeah, and the studio heads want to hire their friends. Oh, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, it didn't, did not happen. But
doesn't matter. It's movie magic, right? But I love that he's engaging with Orson Welles, who's also engaging of like, look, they may not be in the same class, but like they're having like similar frustrations, which is doubly funny because just how difficult it was for Orson Welles to get movies made, especially after Ambersons and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think that, as far as myth making goes, works well because there is like a deep sort of earnestness and like in his mind he's making the greatest movie ever. He just is not interested in doing second takes of anything ever at any time, and that comes across very open-heartedly. And it's I'm sure we'll get into it when we do the plot summary and whatnot, but for me the turnaround is like when they're at the theater and Plan 9 is premiering, and they're all kind of like watching for their parts and be like, oh, there you are, there's, oh, cool. And it's such like, it reminds me of any kind of creative act, like making a record or anything that where if you're engaged with it and you're enjoying the journey itself being the destination, then I think it's something that will appeal to you.
Yeah. Well, the Welles thing is also, I mean, Welles like had long periods of extreme creative burnout, long periods of just the same kind of alcoholism, like creative alcoholism, I guess. That
yes, the French.
Yeah, but like,
remember those commercials?
They both ended up drinking themselves to death, essentially. Like by like a pretty young age, and they both kind of had like this outsider thing where it got harder and harder to make films because of that, like because you couldn't really rely on the studio system. So there is like a connection between, like, Citizen Kane should not have worked the way that it did, right? Like Citizen Kane is a movie that Orson Welles had complete creative freedom on, and somehow, like, miraculously, like, never having made a film before, never having touched a film camera before, like, ended up creating the greatest film.
Makes one of the greatest films of all time. Yeah.
Right.
Which to this day, people are learning the wrong lessons from. But anyway, we'll talk about that in 2 weeks.
Including kind of Orson Welles. Like,
sure,
none of his other movies like are as impressive as Citizen Kane, and it led to like these long depressive episodes. It also lended itself to Orson Welles having to take on like these kind of sad acting gigs in all these different places to try to even get movies made. Like, there is like a connection between Ed Wood's kind of like total collapse over the years and Orson Welles' kind of total collapse over the years. Like, as to like characters, like by the end of things, and also Bela Lugosi, someone like that, right? Like, you can see them trading off of themselves as a character. Because they kind of have to, like, some form of celebrity, and it's like this hacky thing where it's like making appearances on. I think the appearance Bela Lugosi's that he messed up, and I watched it and I really couldn't tell like the mess up, but Milton Berle is actually where he was.
Yeah, and
so
it's played for like more
Uncle Milty.
More extreme effect in the film, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, Daniel House, your show Creative Asylum, which I've been lucky enough to be a guest on, and is great. It's a regular listen for me. People check that out.
Thank you.
Creative Asylum, and all the places. But that's a show that kind of focuses on like the nature of creativity and like the creative spark. And so it's interesting that we're covering this one with you, because it's sort of like, well, he's got that. It's just like, well, there's certain other things that are maybe missing, but like that's absolutely there. And it's interesting that you said you've seen this a bunch. I've seen it, I think, 3 times over the years, one of which was in the theater, by the way. And I think I get way more out of it now than I ever did as a kid.
Sure, of course. Well, there's more subtle nuance and everything. I mean, in my mind too, I don't know where you all stand on Burton's entire filmography, but to me, this is his last great film.
It's the high water mark. I agree.
Mars Attacks was okay. Sleepy Hollow was okay, but already starting to slide pretty hard. And I've always felt pretty much from that point forward. Okay, I will say Frankenweenie. I will give an exception for that. But most of everything he's done since then has just been has paled compared to everything he did before, as far as I'm concerned.
Especially that run that he was on, right? I mean, you had Beetlejuice, you had the first Batman and the second Batman.
I mean, his first movie was Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah,
Holy
amazing.
Crap. Yeah, amazing. And then Beetlejuice was the second film.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
There's weird moments like
I still think
Big Fish,
I still
right,
think
where
he was
comes
the
back a
best
little
guy
bit
to
and-
direct Sweeney Todd, though, as like to keep
Sure.
the aesthetics. I can't imagine,
agree.
especially since a lot of revivals of Sweeney Todd use the Tim Burton like aesthetic now. It's like that's
But
it's
it's
it could have
also-
been anyone else.
He almost kind of becomes a parody of himself at a certain point. And we talked about this when he did the Beetlejuice 2 episode, which was like, this is like the first glimpse of like the old Tim Burton that we've seen in a while, even though it didn't quite hit maybe the way that it could have. But
Divorce Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cassie Monica Bellucci. Okay, well, who can blame him?
But yeah,
And they broke up too.
It's I don't know. To me, Tim Burton kind of did the same thing that Wes Anderson did. He became so high in his own supply that pretty soon he just
Too
started.
commercial too. I mean, a lot of people like to say Tim Burton did not direct Nightmare Before Christmas. He produced it. I'm like, yeah, but
And he wrote it.
it's
And he wrote it.
but he wrote it. But also too, it's his claymation vision. Like I'm like, it's his style. Like I get it. The guy directed it. But like also too, it's the most like merchandised movie out of all of what is considered a Tim Burton brand. I mean, hello. I mean, I got my Jack Skeleton Nutcracker back here.
And it's great. It's great, but it is also kind of what Daniel's talking about. That it's like this. It's like Tim Burton Co. at that point, right? Like it's sort of this is the things that were this crazy warped. His Batman movies were just nothing looked like that. Nothing had looked like that before.
Batman Returns is a Christmas movie.
Batman Returns is actually underrated too, I feel like. And I think that the Wes Anderson comparison is a good one because that's someone that I really like Rushmore. I think Rushmore's a really great movie.
I think his first 3 movies are great.
Yeah, and then it's just kind of like he found his thing, and it's like, all right, you're doing like a Jacques Tati, you're doing a Powell and Pressburger, there's going to be.
But then you do Planet of the Apes, and it's like this is not your fit,
Planet of the
dude.
Apes. Don't talk to me about Planet of the Apes.
I mean, that's where he met Helena Bonham Carter, and they fell in love and all that.
I thought he met before that. I thought he met Helena Bonham Carter during Sleepy Hollow.
No, she wasn't in Sleepy Hollow, was she? I don't remember.
No, it's Kristina. That's the movie they even still do with Kristina Ricci.
Right.
I just rewatched.
We regret the error.
Hollow. I think I watched it around the time that we watched Beetlejuice. I rewatched it for the first time since I was like a lot younger, and I was like, this is kind of mid. Like this is not. No,
like, it's definitely at the B. the most charitable thing to be like it's his B tier movie. But Planet of the Apes, I was furious when I saw that because I was like, Tim Burton doing a Planet of the Apes reboot. Let's go. I'm there first weekend, and oh my god. Ooh.
Yeah, I remember watching it on FX, and I was like, what is this?
I was the exact opposite.
I remember.
I'm like, there's no way I can go see that.
Because you just didn't think it would be good. I mean, it wasn't.
Well,
it was
I was already kind of an anti-Burton fan at that point. I just kind of lost my interest anyway. So
Yeah, that was the nail in the coffin for me. I sort of like didn't pay much attention to what he did for about like 15 years after that.
I remember renting the because they had like the trilogy Planet of the Apes thing at the time. And I remember renting the Tim Burton one. And I remember the apes in armor on horses, but I don't remember anything. Like I don't remember a single detail.
That's the whole thing that I
that.
remember too. And I forgot that what was Paul Giamatti was in it too. I was like, what?
And it was around the same time as around the same time as like Lord of the Rings. And in my head I take the Iroquois and I take the Iroquois on horseback and I take the apes on horseback. And in my mind I just kind of mesh them up a little bit.
Well, and the Andy Serkis ones are actually good. Like, I mean, the last one is sort of like, it's okay. But like those they're good, and I didn't even watch those because I was so like put off and pissed off at that Burton Planet of the Apes. I'm like, I ain't watching that. No way. I'm not watching anything involved with that. I was like, oh, why didn't anyone tell me these are actually good and like nothing to do with
I remember the one James Franco is like in a lab, like trapped in a lab with an ape for like a lot of the movie.
Yeah, was that was the first one?
That's the first one. That's the first one.
Yeah. I saw it in the theaters, I remember, and I was like, damn, James Franco really acted the fuck out of this ape collaboration.
Anyway, we're talking too much about Planet of the Apes. The point, the salient point is, and by the way, what the Burton movie I came back to after like 15 years of like not paying attention to his stuff was freaking Dark Shadows, which I was like, this is worse. This is worse.
I'm going to go on a tangent. I'm going to go on a tangent.
I'm thinking about
no one loves that soap opera more than I do. Okay, if they just stuck to like the campiness of the soap opera, like the bad CGI, the melodramatic acting, and the organ music, it would have been fine. But it didn't. The tone was not. The only thing good about that movie was Ava Green as Angelique, and that's about it.
I saw that one in theaters too. But the child nesting as an ape. Now
I was like, I love the soap opera. Like, this is not like it.
The Orson Welles scene, and he's like, they're trying to make me make a movie where Charlton Heston plays an ape. And he goes,
instead of touching people, yeah.
But
anyway, we're getting kind of far afield. I agree. I think Ed Wood's sort of like the high water mark, and then it's kind of downhill mostly after that.
Because it's so underrated. Like when people when people think of Tim Burton, they think gothic aesthetics. People like biopics.
Was not a hit, by the way, at the time.
No.
For movies that I saw in the theater, I like to point out which ones were and weren't hits. This was not a hit at all.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they didn't even make back their budget, right? Initially. I mean, I'm sure.
Well, and they originally were given grief for even shooting in black and white. Like, we can't market this, we're gonna they had problems with distributors because of it, which is just like, oh my God.
It would be a terrible movie had it been in color. Well, it wouldn't be terrible.
Oh yeah.
It would not.
I can't imagine in color.
No,
it wouldn't have been the same.
The Siskel and Ebert of them talking about this movie though. I've never seen Siskel so excited about a movie, and he goes on for like 6 minutes about how this is like his favorite movie that he saw in 1994, and he loves it. And then Ebert, for the last minute, he's like, I also loved it, and it was like, I don't know, they were hyped for that. They seemed like they were this movie's biggest backers.
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah, which is like, wow. Surprise,
Well, I mean, they would get it right, historically, now and again.
I just feel like, if you wrote Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, you really shouldn't be a film critic, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
When Ebert got it wrong, he got it spectacularly wrong. Sometimes for absurd reasons that largely had to do with him being a horn dog. But I mean, look, mostly a force for good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But but it's interesting how, again, like this movie focuses on, the peak of like Ed Wood's career, where he's making, all these movies, and people forget, like in the 60s and 70s before he died from alcoholism, he was doing like porn and like exploitation film.
Not just porn. He's doing monster on monster porn. A lot of it.
Yeah.
And so he was the first person to do it in this specific subgenre of porn where it's two monsters.
He was ahead of his time, actually. As it turns out. Yeah.
I mean, before in the porno parodies, he might have been the Godfather. Oh my God, maybe he was.
I think I need to do some deeper digging, is what I need.
It's quite the rabbit hole being introduced.
I mean, yeah.
But I mean, he was very, despondent about, not having money, and him getting evicted, and a lot of his stuff was just sold when he and his the woman he was with, got evicted, and they just spent their time drinking, and of course he was only 54 when he passed.
And he
another corollary with Orson Welles, actually. They had a lot of that same crap happen to him too, But then he also comes up with like F for Fake, which is one of his best movies, and that's like one of his last movies. And that's why he's talking about the head of its time, He and
his wife ended up so poor they lived in the hood, and Ed Wood would walk out of his house, get instantly robbed pretty much every time. So he ended up starting to have them send the checks directly to the liquor store. That's where he was going every time, or he wouldn't have money on him. So they started just sending his porno checks to the liquor store, and then he and his wife would get drunk, beat the shit out of each other. Apparently, both of them. Like, it was like literally they would just knock each other around, and then they would pass out, things got bad to the point where when he died, like his wife didn't notice for like 40 minutes because she was just so sick of him that he was like help, and she was like, I'm not gonna go in for whatever this is. And she had like a friend go check on him.
Imagine John Waters had like intervened, like, you know, because John Waters was still doing, you know, film, like, you know, he did Play Flamingos, did the other films in the early 70s. So he was, you know, establishing a, you know, a career during like, you know, doing those types of movies. And of course he mainstreamed in the 80s with like Hairspray. Like nothing can, you know, top Hairspray, obviously. But like, imagine if he had, you know, been able to like reach out, help, you know, him get sober, you know, where
he's an outsider's outsider though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then real quick, I wanted to mention that if they were to do an Ed Wood biopic, which please no more biopics ever. Like let's just stop. Let's just call the whole thing off. Like I'm over it.
Yeah, but
everyone's
Conan,
over
they're
it.
doing biopics about tribute bands now. Okay, that's the next.
We're gonna launch a full investigation, and once the results of that investigation are found, there can be no more biopics. But if they did it today, you know that they would get into that salacious like latter day stuff, and it would be a drag, and it would be something where it's like, all right, because we're
not honoring the art anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
well, because that's what people do is it's like the Jerry Springerization of content, which is I use my terms carefully when I say that abhorrent term. But I think like, and it was mentioned in the comments. Do you like the idea of a biopic in the line? He was terrible, but he did develop the idea of monster porn. Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's the kind of like stuff that like they would focus on.
Get the recognition he deserves. I'm gonna ask my friends who work in Instagram, like, you do realize that because porn spoofs are from Ed Wood, right? Like he's the reason why you do your porn spoofs.
But the thing is, it misses the point of what makes it interesting to me.
Yeah,
to me that like that.
But some of these titles, Necromania, Orgy of the Dead.
Oh, I've seen
Meat
Necromania,
Cleaver
actually.
Massacre.
I think I've seen Orgy of the Dead.
He wrote 80 crime and sex novels in the course of like 12 years. He
would have loved Law and Order,
literally
dude.
like he was, and that's where a lot of the money that he was having sent to the liquor store. That's where a lot of those checks would come from.
You know what? Bernsey makes a good point. What if Ed Wood is almost like a Dewey Cox situation, where it's like, you know, it's I mean, because a lot of the stuff in this movie did not happen or was very much like salacious and like exaggerated.
But it's telling a story, and that's sort of like the problem I have with most biopics is A, they are terrible and stop making them, but B, that like they it's usually done, as Forrest is fond of saying, you know, at the estate's permission. So you're never going to get anything that's going to be other than painting them in a glowing light. This happens in documentaries too. Look at the Big Star documentary. At no point ever in that documentary does it ever say, oh yeah, you know the reason why he was so troubled? Because he was gay and came from a religious family. And like the family was like, yeah, we're not going to let you have any of this footage unless you like don't say that, because we like the Lord and the Lord hates that.
That's why I like the one because he was like, warts and all, people. Show it all. I don't care. Show the gay orgies I had. Show me doing cocaine. Do it all.
I do really, really wish that he had made The Ghoul Goes West, because at the time he had Gene Autry lined up. Gene Autry lined up to star.
That sounds rad.
Also, it would have starred Gene Autry, Bela Lugosi, Tor, you know, the big guy, Lon Chaney Jr. and John Carradine, and he had a whole script. He had a whole script written, and then Gene Autry, you know, for whatever, he was getting older, and he dropped out of, and then, you know, that the whole thing with this was happening while Bela Lugosi was going to rehab, and then he died like a year later.
See, I want to see a movie about him trying to get that made. That'd be great.
See, I feel like, again, like biopics can work if they're about like a specific, like, don't go through the whole fucking life story because it's all cliches. Focus on like a specific little period. Like that's why the Bruce Springsteen biopic, a lot.
Yeah, the Nebraska one. That's what they do because
they're like, oh, this is when he's so sad and depressed. I'm like, but that's a good thing though. You don't want Born in the USA. That's boring to me.
Yeah,
I would recommend though,
whatever, you know,
if people are interested in like Ed Wood stuff, go to his Wikipedia page, scroll down to unrealized projects. There's this long list of just ideas he had, scripts that he had that people have collected, I guess, in various places, and it links to a lot of them, you know, the way that Wikipedia does. But you can actually see like there's some like genuinely interesting stuff that if he had the money, like it makes me sad a little bit because if he had, like, imagine today's today's like version of
A24
like, the Ed Wood
and
thing,
Neon
where
would be
it's
like, let's do it.
Well, it's not even talking about like studio wise, right? Like just with the technology that we have and how much cheaper and how much I'm not saying it's easier like creatively or anything, but how much easier it is with technology and with actually being able to like make films yourself. Like like Ed Wood today would just kind of be able to do something like it would the gatekeeping.
Well, like Neil Breen or someone, right? Like he does like all that
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like one of those things where it hits different just because having resources, now means something different than having in like the 50s. It's been something entirely different, and like you can get a cult following. Everybody gets their own little little circles, right? So the so bad it's good cult following is like a real thing. It didn't exist when Ed Wood was making movies, and it was starting to develop right when he's at the end of his career with that really depressing cinematic tableau of a domestic non-bliss you were reeling with this earlier.
Yeah. I mean, not like, not to, I like that this movie stops in like a pretty optimistic time in his life. Like I would not want to see the rest of that story play out. I was just kind of digging into it because I was interested, like to see, what happened to him from there. But it's like
I don't want to end on a low. No, like who wants that? Like who wants
because it's done something triumphant,
Yeah.
and it becomes more like almost about Tim Burton's ideas about creativity, which are good, and like using Ed Wood's life to sort of tell that story, which some people were like mad about. I'm like, well, that's what makes it a good movie, though.
Yeah,
but Conan
and he just his ideas about himself, right? Like his own relationship at the very end of Vincent Price's life. Tim Burton, right? Like he made Vincent.
That's right. They were like buddies, right? Yeah.
So but that's like he felt like he had this spiritual connection, I guess, to Ed Wood because Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi had this like end of life connection.
Yeah.
So at the same time, it's like Tim Burton thinking about his own relationship to Vincent Price and kind of channeling himself through the character of Ed Wood, which in some ways,
And the creativity too, because Conan, he was going to direct the third Batman movie, but they did not want to keep that aesthetic, even though it made perfect sense considering Batman the Animated Series had just debuted and it was dark and gritty, and they wanted something more like comic book and like bright and whatever. So we had
get Val Kilmer in
Joel
there, get him in
Schumacher with the bat nipples and all that, and I'm like,
bat nipples.
I'm like, and bat credit card. I'm like, no, man, and. So, like, with Ed Wood, he did the two Batman movies. He did Ed Wood. And then, of course, he was slated to direct, the next Batman movie. Creative differences. They're like, nah, let's not. And you know what? I mean, I wonder if Andy, who did the two It movies, when he does Batman the Brave and the Bold, if he's going to do like a Tim Burton-esque type of style.
Is he doing that? Man, okay.
Yeah.
That dude loves his crappy CGI and his crappy jump scares. It worked in Welcome to Derry. I thought the first It movie he did was like okay, and I really didn't like the second one. I like the performances and almost nothing else. But like it was redeemed by Welcome to Derry being very good. So I guess he can do it. Just I don't know.
Yeah,
that's some
everyone
rotten
thinks it's gonna be
CGI.
like the Flash, and I'm like,
dude, it looks like Sci-Fi Channel CGI. I'm not even kidding. Like like we're just like, oh my god, did somebody like check this
all this time,
the
and what's the point of taking 3 years between, whatever. But like, but what I'm saying is like, Tim Burton was also having his own like creativity, being like, and
also that dude seems real full of himself, and he has no reason to be. But anyway, peace and love in my heart. Coming up next week, that guy. No, the guy who does the It movies. What's his name?
Okay,
Andy, something or other. I can't remember. But
Jetty?
No. What is his name?
I've seen none of those movies, so
you can miss him.
I'm that's why I have.
But
that's why I didn't watch Dark Shadows, because I'm like I need to not see that.
Andy Muschietti, the Welcome to Derry show is very good.
Is
I was shocked. No, it's very good.
By the way, another thing Ed Wood tried to do.
Sorry.
He tried to bring Karloff and Bela Lugosi back together for like a
Boris Karloff.
he tried to bring them back together.
Some people don't realize this, but they didn't really have much of like a rival. They were in so many projects together because they were known for playing like the OG Universal monsters.
Right.
So it was funny when it's like, I hate that, and I'm like, but wait, what? No, I don't. I'm like, I don't think.
Yeah,
this
but
is
that
accurate.
makes it so much. That makes it so
It's
much
funny,
better
yeah.
when he's just drunk. When he's drunk and he's like, okay, I
Boris
quit.
Karloff.
He's like, no, but like he realizes it's not even about Boris Karloff. It's that he could have played Frankenstein. He turned it down because thought he was better than that. So he goes like, so he's just drunk, and he's like, it's such a good scene. Like whether it's like true or not, like standing in front of the octopus just with a bunch of whiskey in his hand and like morphine out of his fucking mind. And he's like, I could have been Frankenstein. He's like,
I mean, the one thing that is true about
the Universal
was buried in his Dracula.
The Universal Frankenstein's not a very interesting character, too. And it's not to say that the original character isn't. And the Guillermo del Toro movie that just came out is a lot closer to the book in that way. But it's also
it's also pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, it's got some bad CGI.
Maybe
Everyone loves bad CGI. I don't know.
What's the point of taking years to make something when it's CGI? It's just.
And Oscar Isaac's in like a totally different movie. He's in like a 70s Hammer movie or something. It's like, what's happening?
Actually, I'm wondering here, completely off topic, but regarding the Del Toro Frankenstein movie, I've had a lot of debates with people about. I couldn't stand Oscar Isaac, and then other people I actually couldn't stand the monster. It's like Monster GQ, like. It's just a little.
They didn't make him ugly enough. They didn't make him
little too pretty. Yeah. And by the way, like he went from being this, lumbering pretty boy to suddenly being able to read with incredible eloquence, and you're just like, huh? Wait, what? What just happened? And how?
I was watching this. I was like, this is the plot in Dark Shadows, isn't it? Like, but like, I'm like, they also too revealing what he looked like, as opposed to like what they did with Bill Skarsgård with Nosferatu. We didn't know what he looked like, barely even in the movie.
Right.
So it's like they should have like kept, but with it released on theaters and in Netflix, they couldn't hide what he looked like.
What if Guillermo had given Frankenstein's monster a very surprising and unfortunate mustache?
Accurate to the time. No, just kidding.
I feel like 90% of the discourse about Nosferatu was about the mustache, by the way. But anyway, whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Mia Goth, though, perfect fit for. Oh my gosh, she should be in a Tim Burton thing.
Yeah,
I'm surprised she's not. She hasn't been yet.
She like her and Lily Rose Depp both got the perfect face for like gothic romantic horror or whatever. But like,
who doesn't is Sarah Jessica Parker. We talked about that a little bit when we did.
Yeah, well, I remember watching because she had just done Hocus Pocus and then she did Edward. So I'm watching this and I'm like,
she doesn't look like she's from the 1950s. Everyone, who does is Patricia Arquette.
Yeah,
she absolutely. It was like she's got that look.
Yeah.
Even Johnny Depp and like the way he's made, it's like you look era appropriate, But
yeah, he doesn't just.
Patricia Arquette always looks
British
like with the blonde hair and like the black and white. She looks like someone who King Kong would like pick up and try to carry.
Yes, Fay Ray, who
Well, this is right before Lost Highway too, which obviously we've discussed that at length. And
no, really,
yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah, it's
but you know what's so funny though when it comes to like Johnny Depp as an actor, regardless of stuff, people are like, oh, he's very one note. I'm like, not really.
He became. I feel like. Do you think it was like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies that like he kind of?
I think that's what happened, and him living like in London because a lot of people are like, what the fuck is his accent? I'm like, it's Tennessee and British. I'm like, also the mother of his children he was with for like 20 years has a French accent, so he's very like ambiguous. But like he just became Jack Sparrow,
and
like,
he started doing like the thing Al Pacino did, where you like that? Cool, I'll just keep doing that.
Yeah.
You seem to like it, and they seem to pay me for it. So
it seems to make me a lot of money.
I mean, it was a lot of people did not like his Willy Wonka, but I'm like, guys, this is very, very different from Johnny. I'm like, this is very like almost like Ed Wood. I'm like, he has some. I'm like, there are things that he can tap into. It's just
I just kept getting reminded of. I felt like it was too much like Michael Jackson. His Willy Wonka.
Well, wow. Guess what? Okay. He said Michael Jackson was the main inspo for his Willy Wonka.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
In 1952, aspiring writer and director Ed Wood is struggling to break into the film industry. After learning that producer George Weiss, apparently a real guy, I wonder if he was as fat as he is in this movie.
I wonder if he's related to Barry.
Christine Jorgensen's life story. Ed meets with Weiss to direct a now fictionalized film, I Changed My Sex, but is rejected. Ed then meets his longtime idol, horror film actor Bela Lugosi, whom he befriends. Ed persuades Weiss to let him direct by arguing that having a star in the film would sell tickets they could sign the financially struggling Lugosi for a low price. I don't think he gets the whole Z movie thing, which is kind of hilarious. Like, I don't think he gets how that business works at all.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, like the setup there is good, right? Like, because it's like he's trying to be a filmmaker, and like in any way, shape, and form, it's obviously this guy's a hack. He's like just gonna try to grind them out, get people, just get the movie out and play in certain cities, and you can make a profit if you play your cards right. That's the mindset.
Which I didn't like, because I saw this movie when I think I was like 10 or 11, so I was not like well versed in anything the first time I saw it. Like I was pretty young.
I was like, oh, a Johnny Depp movie, cool. I'll watch it.
And I remember, and like I've always had like this fixation on trying to find out as much as I can about things that I get interested in with films, right? Like, so I number one, I got interested in Ed Wood because he's from like here, and he's
I was going to ask you if that had
like,
anything to do with why you chose this movie, because you're both from Poughkeepsie.
I mean, like, well, this is just one of the.
He's too busy picking his feet in Poughkeepsie, actually. But, yeah.
I'm gonna make it. I should start just making a letterbox list of just movies that reference Poughkeepsie. But I got very fascinated with Ed Wood, and then I got fascinated with John Waters, like kind of around the same time, like when I was like very, very young. And didn't see like the crazier John Waters movies at the time. But like movies like Hairspray and Crybaby and like the more I guess young friendly ones, and
they are that.
Yeah,
like,
not the ones with Divine from the 70s where she's eating shit.
I kept trying to, and then my parents were like, "What are you watching over there?" I'd be like,
"Yeah, that's how I would be like up late because some of the movie channels would do like the midnight showings of like on the channels for Pink Flamingos and Rocky Horror." And my mom's like, "But people are like, what are you watching?" I'm like, "Nothing."
But those kinds of things, I mean. Forrest and Kristina, you're a little younger, but like those are the kind of things that like those are some of the first depictions of, cross-dressing, trans issues, so on and so on, that really were in the zeitgeist, successful or not.
You couldn't make those movies today, though, without
in a major way. Well, no, I'm trying to talk about how they were made then, but like it brought forth these ideas that were like kind of a big deal, like in Twin Peaks when the character that is David Duchovny's character comes out, who's a cross-dresser. And it's just not really like these were like huge things because it was the kind of thing where it's like the normalization of these like progressive ideas moving towards humanitarian empathy that I was like, I didn't know anything about anything. That's why I was in high school when I saw this. You know what I mean? Like, and it was a pretty short walk from that to like John Waters and the aforementioned poop eating and whatnot. Cool, but just having people have that first experience, that first exposure to something, it was not as common as it is today. And granted, Kristina, you immediately focus on the backlash, which I get it, and I understand why you would mention that. But the thing is, it just was not even in the zeitgeist, let alone in the monoculture at the time.
Yeah, even when
this movie is like.
This was Don't Ask, Don't Tell. They literally asked a question of the military.
It's kind of crazy because when Christine came out as trans, they're like, GI becomes knockout blonde. I'm like, you can't, again, sorry to mention today, but like an article like that could not be written without someone going, oh my God, what the ew, what? Like,
but
crazy.
There are depictions of trans people, though, which like that is the significant difference.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it's like the problem solved. It clearly is not.
People like it when men cross-dress and do drag. They don't like it when gay men do it.
Yeah, right. But it was also like it's a big like tabloid thing at the time too, where it's like, wow, look at this, I mean, like not to whatever. There's like, look at this freak on a piece of paper. Like back then, I feel like that was you could just be like, hey, look at this freak person, and then
you even
like,
see it.
Like like they don't have it's completely dehumanizing, right? Like it's
You see it in the scene you just mentioned from the movie Forrest, where the Edward's, talking to the ladies in the secretarial pool, and they're like talking about that story, and like they're not especially empathetic or kind about it, because there's no lexicon for it.
So Ed shows the film's completed script to his girlfriend Dolores Fuller and reveals that he is secretly a transvestite. having worn women's clothing for personal comfort since childhood. But Fuller struggles to accept this. The real story of it too. She did I guess he wanted to marry her, and she was like, "Look, I'll live with you, and we could have this like creative partnership. I'm not gonna I don't trust that you're not like a gay guy, like pretty much like." Yeah. She was like in love. She was like in love with him, but she was like the step of marriage for some reason was just like a little bit was the step I guess for her that was too far. Here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even, I mean, Plan 9 was what, 59? But Glenda was 52.
Yeah, this is like
just
early.
A few years after the end of the Second World War. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about. It's kind of crazy when you think about that film got made in 52 at all.
Yeah, this is like years before Dobie Gillis. It's not exactly a progressive landscape.
Pretty wild.
It kind of reminds me. I don't know if you guys. I'm assuming you all watched Golden Girls, but Dorothy's brother Phil was a cross-dresser, and it kind of like confused Sophia. And they're like, how can a 6'2", 300-pound old man, be married with 9 kids and still want to cross-dress and whatever. And the running gag was like, I love all my children except Phil. And then he died. And so that was like a little thing. But it's like,
I'm always
sometimes
like
fascinated a psychological
on
need that it just fulfills for people. Like, I don't,
I'm always fascinated though by like the TV aspect of it, where it's like so many things, whether it's like people being gay, or whether it's civil rights even, or whether it's cross-dressing. Like they all sitcoms somehow have been like culturally how we've like at least introduced ourselves to sell ourselves to these ideas.
Like all the family. Remember Archie and this one friend who died in a hate crime? That was another thing that we had to come to grips with.
Well,
but during
and just to give a shout, by the way, Rob Reiner, such a tragedy. We've not had a show since that happened, which is terrible. But also, he thought he was only going to be remembered for Meathead. It's like, no, dude, you're being remembered for like one of the greatest runs of like mainstream filmmaking in like modern history, which it really is. If you look at like all of like you got Stand By Me, Spinal Tap, Few Good Men, you have like this incredible just multi-genre run of
Princess Bride.
Killer movies.
If only Ed Wood had the same success,
Right.
It's kind of.
And then he got obsessed with politics, and all right, they became less good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it kind of it's kind of weird that this is just like 3 months ago or something. But giant steamed ham in a suit. Piers Morgan had Rob Reiner on and literally asked him the question like, if you could be remembered for one film, like I don't know like why that was the question that he asked him, but like that was like the main question. He's like, if you could be remembered for one film, and he said Stand By Me. And I was kind of fascinated by that because that's like he feels like that's his like
it's one of my all-time favorites.
It's like a classic coming of age movie, and like
now if Ed would be one to be remembered for Glenn and Glenda, I'm just
Anyways, I didn't mean to thread Jack, but we've not addressed the Rob Reiner at all on this show yet.
So during production for Glenn or Glenda, which is now about a transvestite, Ed shoots only one take per scene, gives actors little direction, and uses stock footage to fill in gaps. The film is released to critical and commercial failure, preventing Ed from getting work at White Screen Classics or making a partnership with Warner Brothers executive Feldman. On the advice of Fuller, Ed decides to finance his next film, Bride of the Atom, working title in progress, independently. He befriends Tor Johnson after a wrestling match and casts him. Meanwhile, Ed discovers that Lugosi has developed a morphine addiction. He's had a morphine addiction.
He's had a morphine addiction.
Yeah.
Interesting. Real quick, Kristina. D'Onofrio as Tor Johnson. Also D'Onofrio in The Player. Almost unrecognizable. Yeah. So another tie back for this month. Go ahead.
I love the scene where it's like he's, Edward's like talking and, you can see him getting like the drugs or in the background or whatever. And it's just like.
Suddenly he's in a good mood and he scares the kids.
I'm like, something's wrong with him.
He scares all the kids except the one, and then I love that. There's something about
he takes out the weird pictures.
There's something about Johnny Depp's voice in a lot of this that like at first was like hitting my ear with like this pitch, and then you realize like, oh no, it's the dent, like he's doing the dentures thing where he actually has something in his mouth, because it's like, why does he have like this almost click sound when he talks in the beginning of it, and you don't realize until he pulls out his teeth. It's like, oh, he's got dentures because he has like this. He has this like way of talking. He's like, thank you guys. So, like I don't know, like this. I just couldn't
Johnny
pick up
Depp
what it was
wearing like
until
big teeth in some of his movies because his teeth are so like tiny and like
Should've gotten,
you can tell he's from the south. Like he's from the south. You can tell.
You should have gotten.
You live in the South, so you can say that, but we can't.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You should have gotten the Dracula team. Like, put it in
That'd been good. Yeah, so that's where we're exposed to like the drug use, right? And it's like, okay, that's why. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why he's like fallen out of grace. It's like his wife left him. Like, house.
Well, and you get the judgmental, I don't know, security guard or trash guy or whatever at the studio where he's Edward is working at the. I think it's Paramount because there's the same buildings as the same kind of buildings as we're in Sunset Boulevard, but. He's walking around with the plant and stuff, but he's like, oh, Lugosi, he's a junkie now or whatever. He's like, but he's made so much money for this. Or I guess it must be Universal because he says he's made so much money for the studio. Right. But but it's like he's made so much money for the studio, and he's like, yeah, but now he's a junkie, so he's nothing. And like, you need a guy like that, I guess, to foreshadow for the big point of the movie. It was weird. It was, yeah.
I just forget how many times Jeffrey Jones was in like a Tim Burton movie. It's like,
can we not?
Big jump scare. But no, it was very very weird watching this after watching Nouvelle Vague, where I realized in my head that Godard's process in that movie, at least how Linklater shows it, and Ed Wood's process are like exactly the same.
Pretty close.
Yeah, they're like there's a script supervisor. They don't even have like really a script supervisor in the Ed Wood movies. They can't afford that. But there's like essentially they're like, no, don't you want to fix the stuff in the background? And he's like, no, it's real. It's real. I'm trying to get real life. Yeah,
Edward should have been French and born 10 years later.
Failed fundraising dinner at the Brown Derby. Conan, have you been to the Brown Derby?
Brown Derby's still there. Yeah, I have. Yeah. I was going to mention that. I've totally been there.
It's not the Brown Derby anymore.
It's called something else, right? But it's still the shape is there.
Yes. When we moved to LA in 2003, the Brown Derby was still the Brown Derby.
Yeah.
And I know when we left, whatever it was, 7-8 years ago, the building was still there, but it's under different ownership and a different name. I can't remember what it is, but
yeah,
I have been there. I have been there since it's been the new place.
So this is the Wilshire one, which is it was a chain, if I remember.
Oh, was it?
Right? Yeah. It was
I didn't know that.
They all were shaped like hats, but it was like the only one like left for like a really long time. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been there in years. I don't know. Maybe it's long gone, but.
Did you guys know who Johnny Depp studied to for his portrayal of Ed Wood, like who he based Ed Wood off of?
I don't know.
Jack Haley as the Tin Man
not Ed Wood.
in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, right. I think I did.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. Which I'm like, when I was rewatching, I was like, you know what? Because I was like, why does this seem familiar? And he also watched a lot of like Ronald Reagan speeches and stuff like that. I'm like, well, yeah. If there's anyone who was a B movie actor who should have stayed that way, is Ronald Wilson.
I like making a biopic. I like making a biopic about someone who you can actually like. You can see like interview clips with them, at least occasional ones, and it's like I'll watch other people from around the same time.
Yeah. he can be a tender, gentle, awful, sentimental.
Ed meets Loretta King, who he mistakes for a wealthy heiress. And
it's Juliet Landau. It's Martin Landau's
daughter.
Yeah. Who also was in who also was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer as Drusilla.
Oh,
great role.
Drusilla, she's so good. I loved it.
Yeah, that was a good character, and that was a real good. She did that role for like years too. But I forgot I was like, oh yeah, because I think first time I had seen it. I know first time I saw it, I had not seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer because it wasn't freaking out yet. The show anyway. But
I grew up on that show. I remember watching Buffy and Spike have hate sex for the first time, being like 8 years old. I'm like, I want that. Buffy forever. Bangle, no. Angel, no. Spike, yes. Angel, boring. Who wants
the guy who
vampire?
The guy who plays Spike is from the same town that I am. which is Modesto.
He's also
California.
not British.
George
When I
Lucas.
found he was American.
Yeah, well, that had nothing to do with me, but yeah, like I think it's notable that like they came from the same town because there's nothing from Modesto. There's me, George
Conan,
Lucas.
are you also British?
I hate for it to come out like this, good lad, but
Is everyone getting stoned?
It is.
There's nothing from Modesto except for high-profile murderers.
Ben is Glory. Glory is Ben. What?
That's not.
It would be pretty funny to hear a British person say Modesto, but they would have to do like I think they'd have to do it with a little like Modesto. Like they have to do it like faster than we do it.
Yeah. I lived in Oakland longer, to be clear, but that's where I grew up. So anyway.
So I'll start this over here because it was in the middle of a sentence. But Ed meets Loretta King, who he mistakes for a wealthy heiress. He asks her to fund the film and casts her as the lead instead of Fuller, who is relegated to a smaller role, infuriating her. Filming
you get some
begins
great
with
bitchy dialogue with that too, by the way, which I love.
Absolutely.
Just filming begins but it's halted when it's revealed that Loretta is actually poor.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great scene.
I gave you $300.
Yeah. Oh, you better pay him. Oh yeah, I'm trying.
Well, because they're both doing the thing where it's they're trying to feel each other out because it's like you realize at that moment like Ed Wood is an amateur, right? Like he's an amateur as maybe not as much as she's an amateur, but he still is like he's still trying to figure this out. So he's like, how much does a movie cost? I don't know, $60,000. Oh, that seems very reasonable. And it's like just an assumption that means I will give you $60,000. Now you'd hope that you'd say, do you can you put up like how much money can you put up? Is there money that you can put up? Any of those questions, but instead it's like that sounds very reasonable. Oh, she said it was reasonable. That must mean she's gonna pay the whole thing.
Well, because that comes in like the clueless amateur of it all. He doesn't have any idea of what it's supposed to be or how you approach this or whatever. He just knows. He needs to get the money. He senses blood in the water, and he thinks he's got like a wealthy heiress or something that and she does a great job of portraying that you would be led to believe that maybe that could be the case. It isn't. And that's a very Ed Wood reaction where the entire movie gets kicked out. That's a great scene. They're all outside the studio, with like the props.
It's interesting that I guess a more recent version of like a very similar movie, right? Disaster Artist, the James Franco playing Tommy Wiseau movie. But has the exact opposite problem where somehow in a secret bank account he has millions of dollars and can use it to just blow on whatever he wants. But he's trying he has no idea, just basic stuff about.
We still don't know much about him too. Yeah. Tommy was I'm like.
We still nobody knows where the money came from or anything still. There's no but it's just it's fascinating that so much of this movie is about not having the funding and what they could
much of many movies is like that.
Yeah.
Especially this month. But
John Waters right now he wants to do a movie with Aubrey Plaza. He can't get the David Lynch couldn't get the funding for his movie and it killed him. I mean the those fires did, but man, he died in January this year.
Well, I mean, we talked to Alex Cox in last year or this year, whatever we did. Yeah. And he was doing the Kickstarter thing where he was trying to fund his movie. And we were like, hey, what's your movie? And
dude, it's crazy. It's like he did Repo Man. It's like that is when you think of cult classic, that's top 5.
Legendary directors. I mean, they don't want to do the mistake that Coppola did with Megalopolis,
Yeah. I like that the documentary about Megalopolis is streaming, but Megalopolis isn't.
What's it called? It's on Criterion.
Megadoc, I think, yeah.
Megadoc?
I'm sort of am I going to do the thing where I watch the documentary but don't watch the movie? I might. We'll see.
Have you not watched the movie?
I mean,
I watched it. I watched it.
Is that any good?
Go to the clue.
Yeah. It's a bloated mess, but it is a movie, It's a beautifully bloated mess, and it's a hot mess, but I enjoyed it regardless.
I
took it at face value. That was kind of the thing.
So it also came out around the same time that there was Coppola, was who by the way, remember we did the conversation? He was talking about union busting. And it was like, whoa, there.
Yeah, Coppola, the sexual misconduct.
Well, that's okay. That was the second sentence I was going to say, which that's one of the reasons why I decided here's my line in the sand. I will watch it, but I won't pay money to watch it.
Fair enough.
So I'm not going to watch a VOD of it, but when it's streaming, I can assume on Criterion or
and
Tubi, wherever. I'll freaking watch it.
I watched
there.
it and I didn't pay for it. So yes.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, yeah.
So
that was my
on an iPhone and didn't pay for it.
So that's my internal justifications. I will probably watch it, but I think it'd be funny to only watch the documentary and not watch the movie. But I'm not going to go that far for that.
I think it'd be funny to just keep putting different lines in the sand. So you're like, I'll watch it. It's got to be on an iPhone. I don't pay for it.
It's got to be an iPhone with a cracked screen on a bus.
It's like I will watch a local SD film up until a certain year, you know, like.
And it has to be an iPhone 12 or earlier.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Can't be an.
I will.
Has to be on Winamp on a Windows 3.1 computer.
Now we're talking with visualizations.
I will watch it. It has to be on a Palm Pilot. It has to be on library Wi-Fi, and it has to be between the hours of 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. on a Thursday.
Yeah,
and and I have to.
Then I'll watch it. Yeah,
I knew you were going to say Thursday. I don't know why.
It's the funniest day to mention.
It's a funny day. Thirsty Thursday. That's probably Coppola's favorite day. So Ed convinces meatpacking industry tycoon Don McCoy to continue funding the film. He agrees as long as his son, I'm trying to think of the right word for it. I guess his mentally challenged son, is cast as the lead, which I think is a funny. He's like, I think my boy would be. But like you can't even tell, like the guy, he's like trying to memorize the script and he's clearly like, but it's like it's interesting that they picked a guy that, like, you can't really tell what's wrong with him, right? Like you can tell something is, like you can tell his brain don't work.
Like he lost a lot of oxygen
when
when being given birth to, like the kind of Rose Kennedy thing. Yeah, I get it.
The umbilical cord wrapped around his neck for a second, and then
a little too thick, yeah.
And cut. No.
At
the wrap party for the film, now retitled Bride of the Monster, Fuller breaks up with Ed due to his cross-dressing and the poor quality of his films. I imagine being broken up with due to your cross-dressing and the poor quality of your films. That would hurt.
Well,
I'd be like,
where's Dolores' biopic is what I'm wondering,
Well, first of all, stop making biopics, but I agree. But yeah, you people are insane. You're wasting your lives making shit. Nobody cares. These movies are terrible. Amazing. That's it. If you're gonna go out like with a line, there's much worse lines to go out on.
It's giving when Michelle Phillips got kicked out of the Mamas and the Papas. She was like, "I will bury you all." Well, guess who's still alive? Out of the band.
Well, but it's something where the contrast between the Sarah Jessica Parker character and the Patricia Arquette character could not be more noticeable, right?
Different.
Because and I guess we're gonna jump ahead like plot wise, but like the thing where they're in the frickin' the scary ride with like the guillotine and whatnot, and he basically gets it out front. Like, hey, by the way, this is part of who I am. It's like, well, you still like girls, right? It's like, yeah, okay. Do you like having sex? Yeah, all right. I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, like, you still lack sex with. I love that she's like, you still lack sex with girls. And he's like, I love sex with girls. And she just sits in silence for a second and then goes, okay.
but it makes you think that
supportive,
Well, they met like at a rehabilitation
at a rehab area, which is funny, yeah. Well, and we'll get to that, but what I was thinking about is that the Dolores Fuller character really didn't, within the context of the film, really didn't get the chance to be accepting of him before he's just off on these insane money-losing endeavors that are like incredibly stressful for reasons that have nothing to do with what kind of clothes he's trying to wear, and so it's like but again, that's not. That'd be the minutia of the 9-part streaming miniseries on Hulu.
Yeah. Well, there's, like the actual story of the Dolores Fuller and his relationship, right? Like they met while he was casting Glenn or Glenda. So he was casting. So he was like casting around for it, and she was on. This is like very early in the in the scope of television. She was on 2 television shows as like 2 anthology kind of shows, I think, where she would just be brought in randomly. So she had like checks coming in, and she also was like she was a model and actress. So they would have her she was getting a lot of women's clothing because she worked for all those women's clothing companies. So he was probably like, at first he's like, oh, this woman can model pretty well. She's, wait a second, she gets women's clothing by the
maybe a couple of these wouldn't get missed. Yeah,
because she's when I watched the interview with her, just a fascinating interview, like a few minutes of it, and she's talking about all the clothing companies. She's like, I could get whatever.
Is that the one you sent out earlier?
Yeah. And
yeah,
I had a part of it in the thing, but she was just listing off like these big clothing companies that she was modeling for. And it's like, you could see Ed Wood, like his eyes just pop.
Well, and then I can see where she'd be upset at the depiction because you don't get any of that in the movie, right? It's just sort of like this is just like the now calcified trope of the woman partner who does not understand the genius of the great man, so on and so on. Although it's kind of turned out sad because he's not really a great man. But
I mean, also,
like she's maybe got a point.
Yeah, even though Dolores obviously didn't like how she was portrayed, she's like, Johnny Depp did a really good job portraying Ed Wood. Really, nailed, the man that she once knew. Blah 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 blah. I mean, I assume she would be a lot harsher. But she's like,
well, and then the rest of her career, right? Like she's just banging out song like Elvis songs,
Elvis songs,
or his really awesome, amazing, critically acclaimed movie musicals, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all right. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't find the best filmmakers to collaborate with.
Yeah. Girls.
But she has
bank.
Yeah, she's making money in the arts, which. Exactly. It's more than anything.
But you could probably see Ed Wood just kicking himself like, fuck. Like,
yeah.
Seriously.
But then like Lisa Marie plays Vampira in this, and it's like, there's
she was dating Tim Burton at the time, right?
Yeah. In fact, she was still dating Tim Burton when he was on set he met Helena Bonham Carter.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's right.
Bad, whatever. Yeah. Bad luck.
Well, she's in Mars Attacks too, right? And Sleepy Hollow, and
I was really hoping for more Monica in future projects, but I guess she wasn't a muse, He needs a female muse, and I'm willing to step up and take that mantle,
Oh, you are? Well, that's very generous of you. I know how precious your time is. After the government cuts off Lugosi's unemployment benefits, he checks himself into rehab to cure his drug addiction. It's like I remember, like as a kid, like it's such a fucked up scene when he's like, "Come with me," and he has a gun in Ed Wood's face. And he's like, "Why don't you come with me? We could do it together." And it's like I just imagining like somebody like do it like saying that to me and being like, "We're both failures." Like. We should just like. Why don't we just kill it? Why don't we kill ourselves right now?
You don't like, quite get what he's. Yeah, it's very menacing. Well, then you also get even when he's getting admitted, right? You get that he's like casting the shadow over the admission nurse, and it's like oh, and it's like okay, no, he's just right. This is just played for cinematic effect. But it is funny, like it wasn't a thing that known people went into rehab.
Yeah.
For many years.
Yeah.
Well, like people did, but they did like it was a euphemism. Yeah. It was more like open secret. Yeah, exactly.
Well, he really there is the famous picture. He really is the first celebrity rehab person that allowed themselves to be photographed. And he gets all weird in Norman Desmond about it, where he's like, "Look, the press is paying attention to me again." Paying attention to Bela.
All press is good press.
Yeah, that's right.
What's interesting too?
I'm a star.
I remember when I was doing research, because when I years ago looked into Bela Lugosi, of course his son, Junior, still alive, and he felt that Ed Wood exploited his father when he really needed money to work. And I'm like, and I can see that, but at the same time, I can see that
because he underpaid him.
Yeah,
basically,
but.
Right.
Yeah, but also
he also didn't have money.
He didn't have any money either. Like they're both poor. But like imagine being able to work with like an idol that has fallen, like someone that you watched growing up in movies, and you wouldn't want to pass on that opportunity.
Well, it's like Tarantino's done that on so many of his movies, like people that you've kind of forgotten about, and suddenly he pulls them in, and of course they get paid.
Ryan Murphy does that now with a lot of actresses in Hollywood, and I'm like, God, do you have to have a
we talked about it. we talked about it when we did freaking Jackie Brown, right? Like that he was Tarantino was such a nerd for Robert Forster. It is like, you're going to be the lead. And he's like, really? Okay, cool. Great.
I've always admired that about him. That he does that.
I had something I wanted to add, but now I can't remember what it is. And you don't get the feeling though that like this version of Bela Lugosi, he had kids. He had he wasn't alone the way that he is.
Yeah. But it's also
was he alone? Was he alone during that whole time? Because I was looking up some of Lugosi had a series of wives, like 4 different wives, I think.
Yeah, he had 4 wives.
And during the window that it looks like that was being made, at least on Wikipedia, it looks like he had a wife during that period, as opposed to being portrayed as just being sort of destitute and alone. And I was just wondering, was he in fact alone during that time?
Yeah. Well, in the movie, it says that he says that his wife has just left him. Then that's why he has like the small dogs. I'll look it up now and see.
Even when it came to portraying Bela Lugosi, Martin did not want to be bombastic or like portray him like a showman, but like someone who was near the end of his career, dealing with depression and addiction. He didn't want to play Bela Lugosi as Dracula, because I feel like that's what a lot of people would expect for someone to portray Bela Lugosi.
I mean, he won Best Actor for it, and justifiably so. He's amazing in this. It is like one of the great characters.
Yeah,
and he got a Grammy too. He got a lot of awards for that performance. Yeah. It's kind of his film.
So Lugosi's wife Lillian Arch, who he was with for 20 years, divorced him in 1953. So that's like at the beginning of this, and then his final wife, Hope Lininger. They get married in 1955. So there is a window at least where, but in this, I think they kind of just write out the last wife, which, I mean, they were only married for a year in the end because he died.
But it's interesting. He dies Karloff outlives him because, besides Frankenstein, a lot of us know Boris Karloff for narrating.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's people forget. It's like as if Boris Karloff's legacy has outshined Bela Lugosi's in some respect, of course, because Boris Karloff had that very recognizable, often parried voice. Like people love doing their own spin on the Boris Karloff like British accent. Oscar Isaac has done it.
I think they're both pretty equally regarded at this point, which is to say that it happened before 10 years ago, so most people aren't aware of it. But but I think it's also all right. So we got way more plot to get through. We should get to it, but. Let's just say this is a great ensemble. It didn't need another character. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, look, maybe it's not historically accurate. I get it. We got to cut something somewhere, right? I mean, Jesus, what are we doing here?
And it is a movie.
No, I know. I'm just.
Yeah, it's what you do in movies.
It's
a lot of the time.
It's just interesting to, like in this, he's. I think he feels a lot more alone. I think, which I mean, it's feelings, right? Like it's. Did he feel alone? He met his final wife a year before he died. I'm sure it wasn't like a, I'm sure it wasn't a
vampiric relationship.
Is super deep. For? Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I'm sure. I'm saying, I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't like a super deep kind of thing that I'm like the loneliness would probably still have been there.
Stevie from the comments even got a Bauhaus song named after him. Yeah, good one that we talked about at length when we did The Hunger for Vampire Month. And then also I talked about to David J when he was on Protonic, which that was great. Loved hearing about that. It's awesome.
He was just here in San Diego last night.
David J. Nice.
Yep. And I was going to try to go and I'm like, I don't have the energy.
Yeah, it do be like that sometimes. But I hear he does stuff. He's not.
So Lugosi checks himself into rehab to cure his drug addiction, and Ed meets Kathy O'Hara, who's visiting her father there. Interestingly, the actual place that he met at this time, but the actual place they met Kathy O'Hara, who ends up being Ed Wood's wife for the rest of his life, was out drinking with Bela Lugosi. So it's kind of the opposite of
that actually would have been, that would have been pretty cool to leave in, actually.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting because I was reading their like kind of timeline, and it was like, oh no, they met at the bar. And he was like, this is my friend Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, great.
So he takes her on a date and reveals his transvestitism to her. It's such an awkward word, transvestitism. Like it's hard to.
And we don't really say. We would just say cross-dressing now. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you call that? What do you call that?
Transvestite.
What do you call that ride where it's like a haunted house, but like you're in like there's like a word for that kind of ride.
haunted hayride? I don't know.
No, like what they're in the movie. Come on, what are we talking about here? Pay attention.
It's like a haunted bumper car.
There's like a word for that. Yeah, haunted bumper cars. The bumper cars are haunted.
I don't know. It's like not roller coaster.
It's not
It's
important.
like
it doesn't
a
matter.
coaster.
It's like the tunnel of love, but the tunnel of horror instead, right? It's like that.
Yeah.
But that's
House of Horrors.
yeah, sure.
House of Horrors.
It's a Rob Zombie movie, right? Anyway,
Welcome
It's that
to
too.
Tunnel of Horrors.
Haunted Ride.
but I love that
After
he mentions it, early on. Let's get it out of the way.
Yeah,
this is my
straight
authentic
up.
self. This is who I am. While like the guillotine is like right above them, so that's
Right.
like a cinematic
Right.
thing, right? Yeah, I
Good-
thought
good
that was a
visual.
really cool scene.
It is a good scene. Yeah.
And I don't think anyone besides like Patricia Arquette could have done as well at the, because she just had like there's just something about her like almost not otherworldly, but like there's just something like about her, like she does this thing where she's able to like just pause and then say something like okay, and she does it in this, she does it like in True Romance a lot when you can't really parse out what she's feeling for a lot of the movie, like
even in the Dream Warriors in the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right? Sure.
Yeah. That was like her first movie.
When she steps to begin a relationship after Lugosi is checked out of rehab, he
Because he doesn't have insurance, basically, which is very tough.
Yeah, and
28 days, the Minnesota model strikes again.
After Lugosi is checked out of rehab. Oh,
Rehab.
Okay.
Tried to make me go to rehab, and I said no.
You must go to rehab. Rehab? Oh, rehab. Okay. He and shoot scenes for a new film outside his home. I really do like both in this movie and the actual footage, which is used in Plan 9 from Outer Space, which I rewatched today. That the Lugosi standing outside of his home, and like who knows what they were saying back and forth to each other because the sound's not in it. But I love the line in this where he's like, "What if I am not in so much of a hurry? What if I want to walk around and smell the flowers?"
Yeah.
And like you can tell that this guy feels that he's going to pass away soon, and like
that he's near the end, right?
Yeah.
And then he's come to peace with it in some way, shape, and form. Largely due to
the only
fact
thing
of
that's left
friendship
is
with
he has to think about his whole life before he plays.
He was 73 when he
Yeah.
passed, which is like, damn, dude, really?
That's Bela Lugosi. He has to think about his whole life before he acts.
Dude, I hope they don't do this, but like I feel like a Bela Lugosi biopic, like that's how it would start, and he's like at the end of his life, and he's like on his porch or something, and it's like
reminiscing about his life on his deathbed. Like, don't do that. It's so cliche.
This is why I must join the communist revolution.
Honestly, a biopic about the friendship of Karloff and Lugosi probably would be pretty cool because they came up around the same time. They had career setbacks at the same time. Like the ins and outs.
Fuck you.
Karloff did some interesting things at the end too. I mean, he's in Targets, the Bogdanovich movie, more or less playing himself, and it's great. That's a great film.
Agreed.
It's a great performance too, and he's more or less lampooning / celebrating his own career by doing it. So. Anyway,
I mean, it's like it's definitely like a emotional truth when you realize in this that it's not hating Karloff or anything. That is the jealousy of like I could have also been Frankenstein. I could have.
Yeah, that and that he had a career. That Karloff had a career that sustained and is more fondly remembered, and professional jealousy. I've said some catty stuff in the past. Don't get me wrong.
I mean,
not on this show ever.
I was rewatching the 90 Museum movies, and the second one I forgot Hank Azaria played Rami Malek's brother, which you can't do that now, you know. But like he's like, do not cross this line. I'm like, is that a Karloff? Is
Trying
that
to
a
do a Karloff.
Wait. I'm like, okay, I see it. I see it.
By the way, I like that.
Like, it's the go-to fake British accent that people who try to do a bad British accent do, because Oscar Isaac did it for Moon Knight as well, and I was like, Karloff, right?
Written by Moorhead
I like
and Benson,
that,
by the way, just like Loki season 2. But
yeah,
I like
when are
that-
those
I
guys
like
going to
that
get to make a real
apparently-
movie? That's what I want to know, please. Yeah, I like
that.
I like all the
I
indie
like that
stuff.
Apparently, Apu is so offensive that they had to like redact him to a black site. But Hank Azaria is still allowed to be a gay Guatemalan and a gay Cuban and do the.
Yeah, I love how he can still play like racially ambiguous characters, and it's like, oh Jesus, okay.
Well, 'cause I was watching him do that. He did the 12 Days of Christmas thing yesterday, and he plays from the Birdcage. He plays the gay Guatemalan guy, and he was doing like the full accent. I'm like, this feels more offensive than Apu, but all right. Yeah. So after Lugosi has checked out of rehab, outside of his home, and a company including horror host Vampira, a new member of the group, a new member of the clique, later attend the premiere of Bride of the Monster, where an angry mob chases them out of the theater. I like that's a crazy scene.
Well, and it's also the beginning phases of what later became like the cult movie experience, right? Like your Rocky Horror Picture Show and whatnot,
Right.
where it's like they throwing stuff around and acting up and getting crazy is like part of the experience. Yeah, because you're sitting there seeing a movie with your friends that is not necessarily going to be, there's not going to be a Criterion edition of anytime soon, but it's a good time and you're having, and you can have the experience of being an audience together as a community and both engage with it in what they wouldn't have called at the time, but like an ironic manner as well as on the face of it as well. And so that's a wonderful scene because of that. Although when they rush out to like chase them down, well, first of all, you gotta love when they go back outside and the car's like already been stripped for parts. Yeah, that's
white guys.
I didn't fully understand. Was that just like were they in the hoodlum part of town, or what was going on?
I unclear.
But honestly, I was like, wait, what?
But you do get a good.
I was just surprised to see like well-dressed white guys doing it. Like
you get that good scene where Patricia Arquette stops the taxi by basically like jumping on the hood, and that's you get a great like.
None of my wives would have done that for me.
But as to why they go from just like ripping the place apart and throwing popcorn around to like chasing them out of the theater, like that's not especially clear.
Right. It totally confused me. It also
it looks cool.
A tiny little window. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
mayhem. Run out of there. More mayhem. Car stripped. Oh shit.
Yeah.
What?
Hey, this movie sucks.
But they weren't even there long enough for the movie to suck.
Exactly.
They didn't watch the
You're
movie
not gonna
yet.
be that angry about a film.
The first 3 minutes,
Yeah.
like we're gonna kill you.
Wait a minute. Get him.
Wait,
What?
why?
That escalated quickly.
God, imagine if Springtime for Hitler wasn't a success in the producers. The same thing probably would have happened. I mean, almost did, but then they're like, oh, this is actually kind of funny.
APAC comes after him.
By the way,
That's APAC, everybody.
Jonathan
We'd like to welcome our new
Greenblatt,
sponsor.
Jonathan Greenblatt cancels the producers. No, I really like the speech. Home, I have no home. Hunted, despised, living like an animal. The jungle is my home, but I will show the world that I can be its master. I shall perfect my own race of people, a race of atomic supermen that will conquer the world. And I love that. I don't know. It reminds me of the die werewolf zombie bit in 30 Rock. Where
because it's
doing,
melodramatic.
Yeah.
But it kind of has precursors of that intensely melodramatic, purposeful, like to the point of being like a dark satire and whatnot. But it's also, this is a guy who's kind of out of time, right? He's out of time in multiple ways. He's out of time, meaning that he's not in the time period that he was most comfortable in. He's out of time that he's at the end of his life. So to have him have something where he's able to put this melodramatic, distinguished air behind these words, whether the movie's any good or not, it allows him to have this very profound experience to remember this thing that he's really good at and that people loved him for. And he finds that love in himself at the same time.
That's the clip. That's the short.
Clip it.
No, there's also just the I feel like a race of atomic supermen that will conquer the world is just so like because in your head you're like, you know, with the accent and everything.
It's like, whoa, watch it.
It's like he's getting more and more intense, and he's like, I will show.
Actually, Hitler had some okay ideas. Whoa, Boris.
I shall respect my own race of people, and then it's like,
yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, I mean,
anytime you mention Superman, it's a
loaded.
And then later, Khrushchev, kind of ran the tanks through Hungary.
Our new sponsor, APAC, may want to police this part of the show, by the way. But
Hungary's gotten dragged. Like I like, if I was Bela Lugosi, in my head, I would be like, you know what? Maybe it's good that I am not in Hungary anymore.
Probably.
Yeah,
could have been a very different set of outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
These days,
and we would not have Dracula.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I'm sure he's still in Hungary somewhere, but. Did
you hear about this? Look, I don't want to get off on a whole thing, but Bresson just put out a Dracula movie like right now, like famous filmmaker and sex.
Yeah, with that one guy from the X-Men movies or origin films.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I was like, what a weird. I
haven't
pick.
seen it, but I want to.
I meant it's called Dracula: A Love Tale.
Yes.
Has he crossed oceans of time to find
Dracula?
Caleb Landry Jones. That's right. Christoph Waltz is in it.
Yeah. I really like him as a director, so I'm very curious to see it.
Well, I think that Femme Nikita, right? Professional, Fifth Element.
I love Fifth Element.
Fifth Element's great.
Awesome.
I mean, Professional is
amazing.
It's a great movie. There are some questions about certain aspects of Natalie Portman's age and whatnot. I think that's like when people get creeped out by him, is that he got some pretty Me Too stuff, right?
The greatest Dracula movie is celebrating its 25th anniversary, and I'm referring to Dracula 2000.
Okay,
wait.
I want to take us off this.
The X-Files called and wants Conan Neutron back.
Cute. In 2025. Bresson was announced as the director of The Last Man, a post-apocalyptic science fiction film starring rapper Snoop Dogg. So that's coming up next.
Did anybody here see Dogman a couple of years ago?
Oh, what's that?
That was a Bresson movie he made in 2023.
I haven't seen any Bresson movie in the last 10 years.
Oh, well, he's done a few. He did June and John. Actually did 2 this year. June and John and Dracula Love Tale.
Right.
And,
this is Snoop Dogg Dracula. He's like, for shizzle, my nizzle. And he's like, it is nothing but a G thing, baby.
It could be a D thing too. That would also work.
Gin and juice,
I really did set you up for that, didn't I? Okay, but anyway,
I never drink 40s of Old English.
All right, what's next in the synopsis so we get to the one-liners?
All right. Lugosi dies, leaving Ed without a star. Ed's his own star. Don't let him get you down, buddy. After learning that his landlord's church, the phrase "landlord's church," by the way, is like if your landlord is like, you want hey, I'm in a church group, maybe just get a new apartment. Is struggling to produce a series of religious films about the 12 apostles. Ed convinces him to have his church fund a script for a science fiction film. The second he said Beverly Hills Baptist Church, I was like, no, get out of there.
But you gotta. But the hustle of it, of a lot of times if you want to make a serious picture, you have to make a genre picture first so it can make money. Like he's got,
and then you can make 100 apostles.
That's right. He just mentioned that. Yeah, I love that.
And that actually really happened, did it not?
I believe so.
I believe it did.
100, but did it?
Okay. No. I think that's actually where he got the funding to make Planet.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
That's a real.
Which is just freaking wild, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. People talk about not getting funding. You're not trying hard enough.
Was going to be Grave Robbers from Outer Space, and then they really did change the name to Planet 9 from Outer Space. Right. Yeah, like in the movie. But Ed convinced him to have his church fund the script for a science fiction film, Grave Robbers from Outer Space, which could result in a box office success and generate enough money for the landlord's dream project. The same as the 12 Apostles. The same as Mel Gibson's dream project, I think. But Ed hires Vampira, Tor, the amazing Criswell. By the way, real guy, obviously, the amazing Criswell, whose entire thing was he would get his predictions were all wrong.
Oh, yeah. I remember him
like the Long Island medium, who's like, I think she was like JC Dugard, that one girl that got
This is before any of that. This is like his on Carson and stuff. Right?
I remember Criswell from my childhood on TV.
Yeah,
because I'm old. Yeah,
he does the Elon Musk where he's like, I predicted we're going to colonize Mars by 1970. And now Elon Musk does that every 2 years. He's like, I predict by 2027 we're going to colonize Mars. It's like, all right, Criswell, back the fuck up. And Kathy's chiropractor.
A couple decades, not a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly.
Kathy's chiropractor, Dr. Tom Mason. Again, real guy. Awesome. I rewatched it because I did see it when I was a kid and at least tried to watch. Just a lot of it is like kind of hard to watch if you're just sitting there playing Nine from Outer Space.
You know who slept in a coffin?
They found a guy uniquely looks unlike Bela Lugosi in any way, shape, or form.
Nothing like him.
Right.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
Love it. It's a great
the latter being a standard for Lugosi. He and all his friends partake in a baptism ceremony at the church. We haven't talked about Bill Murray being in this.
Oh, his character's great.
As like as his
that was in the previews, if I remember correctly, for the movie. Was that scene was like, do you accept Christ and blah 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 blah? Sure.
Yeah.
And by the way, worked. I was like, that looks awesome. I'm gonna see that movie.
Mm-hmm.
the real guy that his name is Bunny Breckenridge. I like that name. The drag queen, queen friend of Ed Wood. I like his. I don't know. Bill Murray plays him so good. But I love the line in this out of everything where he's like, "Goodbye, penis." Really loud.
You know what's interesting? You know what's interesting about the Amazing Criswell is that I remember watching the second Harry Potter movie and Kenneth Branagh was that one guy who always over-exaggerated his stories and his talents and his gifts and all this stuff. And I'm like, and when I was rewatching, Edward, I was like, he has the same type of hair, the same type of like way of speaking almost, but with a British accent, the same. I'm like, is this based off of, did J.K. Rowling base, this character off of the Amazing Criswell? Like, it was kind of giving that for me, and I think it was.
By the way, the line is, do you reject Satan and all his evils? Sure.
Sure.
You're actually, Kristina, you're actually kind of right. Like, like if he had his, like the hair,
it's been mainstreamed.
Yeah.
But
that
by
does
the way,
look like
Kenneth Branagh in the second Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, it does.
A little aside on Bunny Breckenridge here. He was the great grandchild of U.S. Attorney General John Breckenridge and the great grandchild of both U.S. Vice President and Confederate General John C. Breckenridge and Wells Fargo Bank founder Lloyd Tevis.
Wow.
John C. Breckenridge was the
thank you,
was the guy
Wikipedia.
he was the guy that ran he was the guy that ran against Abraham Lincoln. He was one of the big candidates that when the the country split into 4 sections pretty much, and
I love that
kind of
you know
collapsed
that.
into the Civil War.
Yeah, says, I got the dome. All right. Back on track.
And Callie's chiropractor, Dr. Tom Mason, the star of the film, the latter being stand-in for Lugosi, just does not look like even the actor
bit.
in the actor in the movie looks more like Lugosi, I feel like, than the actual guy that they found.
Yeah,
they're not the same build, they're not the same height, like nothing about it. There's nothing close about it.
And he doesn't even he fully covers his face, and it's still like, dude, you're
amazing. And Vampira didn't want to talk, so it's great. You got Tor Johnson's God of the Lions, awesome.
During filming, Ed clashes with the Baptists over the title, script content, and Ed's B-movie directing style, eventually renaming the film Plan 9 from Outer Space. Frustrated,
which
Ed
is the
goes
better
to the
title,
bar.
by the way.
It is.
The better
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have the damn song if it weren't for that title.
That's
either,
true.
So,
Well,
hey,
my favorite damn record.
Well,
Me too.
The movie,
Me too.
He recognizes it, like, towards the end. He's like, I actually do kind of like that title.
Yeah. It's good.
Plan 9 from Outer Space. Worst UFOs in the movie. I think ever.
They're
Like,
not. It's not great. No, yeah, it's not.
And you really could tell that it's just him dangling the like. There's parts of this like I think they over exaggerate how bad the little plane cockpit thing that they made is, because in the movie it's like, if I'm not like, I don't know, I could like kind of be like half paying attention to be like, hey, there's enough like a plane, because they keep on flashing back to like, you know, like stock footage of a plane, which is like very fun. They keep being like, so they're in the fake cockpit, which, you know, you could tell is like the fake like part of that, but it's like all right, that's good enough, like you kind of squint or whatever, but then you see the going past the where the plane is or whatever, like the UFOs, there's like, yeah, I don't know, and there's nothing I can do for this, and then every character goes, ah,
yeah, oh no.
Yeah, frustrated, Ed goes to the nearest bar. He's going to be doing a lot of that as the time goes on, where he encounters filmmaker Orson Welles struggling with similar issues. He's also going to be doing a lot of that as time goes on, working on Don Quixote. Courage is had to assert his artistic. There is something really funny to me about how like the unfinished like great film project that Orson Welles tried to pour his life into was Don Quixote, and it's like,
yeah,
come on, man, this is so fucking on the nose.
Terry Gilliam did the same thing too. It's ironic.
They're you might say they're tilting at windmills when they you know.
One might be compelled to say that, yes.
Encourages Ed to assert his artistic vision and cites Citizen Kane. Never seen that movie. Never heard of that movie. Is that
what? What is that?
Citizen Kane? I don't know.
Citizen Canine.
Is that an Air Bud sequel?
Yeah. I saw that one, but what's Citizen Kane?
I never heard of it. Yeah.
As the project where
it's the all dog parody of Citizen Kane. It's like all the Muppets,
Charles
but
Foster.
it's all dog.
It's he's Charles Foster Canine. As the project where he complete creative control. Filming concludes with Ed defying his producer's wishes. At the premiere of Plan 9 from Outer Space, Ed dedicates his film to Lugosi, and as the film plays, he quietly tells himself, "This is the one I'll be remembered for." Right. He's right about that. Afterwards,
accurate.
Ed and Kathy, head to Las Vegas to get married. A textual epilogue reveals that Ed failed to achieve mainstream success. He was so close, right? So close to achieving mainstream success.
So close, yet so far.
But he is. Everybody knows who Ed Wood is, though. That's the other thing too. It's like a different kind of fame. That didn't really.
But it's very funny though. 1980, he gets he gets named worst director of all time, and people get very interested in his films. Yeah. So if his heart had hung on for like, you know, 2 more years.
He would have crushed the Golden Raspberry Awards year after year after year. You should have called them the Golden Wood Awards or something like that. The Eddies.
The Eddies.
The Eddies.
Wait, is it
the Woodbury Awards?
Oh wait,
we've got wood.
You get a Golden Woody. Although that honor eventually earned worldwide acclaim and a new generation.
Thing's really heavy.
Golden Woody also works for pornography.
Yeah,
monster porn.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, I gotta leave now.
Exactly. Oh, but my Uber's here. The epilogues, are interesting and all, but again, what the most notable thing about that is you don't want to get in the plot synopsis is you see everyone watching the movie, but they're not focused on the art itself. They're focused on remembering all the parts of what they did when they did that. Oh yeah, there's your monologue. Oh, there's your scene where you get killed, so on and so on. Mm. And you get to see in the camera, instead of focusing on the movie, it's focused on all of them and their reactions and the communitarian nature of what they just did together. And to me, that's something I found very profound, because that's sort of like the act of creativity with others, where small parts become part of a larger whole. And the experience of creation itself is such a powerful act that brings people together.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when we're doing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Sharon Tate, seeing herself on the screen, she's laid back, watching, all excited, like I feel like, a lot of films do that, where it's like focused on the person's reacting to their work, because that, the pride that they have.
They do, but it's rare that the work be objectively terrible.
Yes.
And have it not matter. And that's what makes this movie special. Because it really focuses on, no, all these people's lives were enriched, not by money, but by experience, by doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And it
the
became
power
part of
of
history.
friendship.
Right, exactly. The friends we made along the way. That's what it really is.
The friends we made along the way, and some of them that we accidentally probably killed along the way.
Yeah, well,
because crippling drug addiction and
alcoholism and abuse. I mean, it's kind of crazy how they seem like they had like the perfect marriage, relationship, the two of them, and then it's like, yeah, we got drunk and just beat the shit out of each other from time to time, and it's like, what?
Well, because it makes a lot more sense when they meet at the rehab place and it's like, oh, my dad's in rehab, blah blah. But like the real version is like, oh no, they met out drinking, and it's like Ed Wood and Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi really liked drinking, and they said, oh look, a woman that really likes drinking, and then they're like, we should go drinking together, and it's like,
but that's less.
I can see how this evolved into alcoholism.
That's less pure, right? That's sort of like.
I'm not saying I don't want to see a movie of it. I'm just.
I see why that change was made. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Letterboxd, of course, is a place for friends, whether they're movies together or not, to talk at, with, and to each other about the films they love, maybe the films that they didn't love, maybe the films where they just quote various Martin Landau's Bela Lugosi lines over and over again. That's the review, because they're good lines, really. Pull the strings! Pull the strings! And, of course, it's not the Siskel's and Eberts of the world, mentioned even earlier in this show. They get to have their say. It's a bottom-up democracy. Everyone gets to chime in, opine, and talk about the movies. This is best done succinctly, unlike this episode, where they're collected weekly by yours truly for Forrest and the panel to react to on air, which is what we're doing right now. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for Ed Wood. Let's go. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
By the way, I was really thinking of what to choose for this, and I like that they're reading the reviews. Like in that one scene
they're the actual reviews of their, we can only assume, horrible show at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, you see the one. You see the one. You see not only is the community theater, it's raining and like just the rain is falling through the theater. So they're like, and you can hear the plop, like plop, plop of just drops. I hear the.
Yep. Yeah, it's the equivalent of playing like Monday in rural Kansas or something.
Drop top.
He's on the spectrum, the gender spectrum.
Oh my God! Yes, he would have thrived in today's world.
One of the spectrums that Ed Wood was on, I'm sure.
Yeah. Wow! Yes, that's exactly. Vagina priest is that user, by the way.
There's something like when you look at the actual like the guy, right? Like the actual Ed Wood. There's something so like almost disarmingly and like off-puttingly wholesome about like the way he dressed, the way his face is, like the way that. Like I don't know. There's something that just
I think that's why Johnny Depp thought of Jack Haley as a tip man when it came to portraying him in the movie.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's something almost sincere about it,
Yeah.
The movies are magic, even when they're tragic.
Hey, yeah.
Yep.
Well,
that's
and and spastic.
Also spastic. Yes, that'd be the tag. Go comment on that. Yeah. Tor Johnson just eating an entire chicken as if it were an apple.
Yes.
I'm eating the apple.
While getting
I would
massage.
love. I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see like that guy interact with Andre the Giant.
Oh man, yeah, that's right.
I'm eating an apple. I'm also eating an apple.
Where's that fighting game secret character unlock?
Hey, you'll finish with that rotisserie chicken? No, not
it's a
yet.
fighting game, but they're both eating. Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a Costco commercial coming up on this.
Exactly. We'd like to welcome our new sponsor, Costco, everybody. Yeah.
and our lost leading chicken.
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to share. You thought you were supposed to share the rotisserie chicken with me. No, I'm not going to. I cannot. I must eat it myself. Okay, you can finish it.
Brought to you by AI. I too would convince my friends to get baptized if it meant we got to make an infamously bad movie.
Yeah, I like Bill Murray just kind of Bill Murray just kind of splashing around in the water too, and like clearly can't swim.
Yeah,
and he's like, he gets there and he's like, only you could convince us to get baptized to do this. I feel like getting baptized, like you should get some like you got baptized, like you should get some creative control if you're willing to go that far.
Well, because he says like, how do you do it? How do you get your friends to get baptized so you can make a monster movie?
Yeah.
And here's the best part. It's not a monster movie. It's a supernatural thriller. Amazing.
Yeah,
the fact that he feels the need to like make the distinction is so Ed Wood, right?
Well, no, but also because he doesn't want to say it's a monster movie in front of the Baptists. Don't cry in front of the Baptists.
Yeah, exactly.
not to go once upon a time in Hollywood.
Right.
But no, I like it's hilarious because it's like I don't know, supernatural thriller sounds like something that a Baptist could maybe like grudgingly get behind, whereas like let's make a monster movie, they're like, oh whoa, monsters, that's not in the Bible. There aren't any monsters in the Bible. It was a mash. It was a monster mash.
You did that, Matt?
Definitely a hit for the quiet kids in the back of the class. Must have been wild at Hot Topic after a showing of this.
Oh,
Can't confirm. Wasn't my scene, but can confirm.
That was my scene. I grew up at the peak of Hot Topic when it was still cool and dark and dingy, like freaking Hollister or whatever.
Welcome to Hot Topic.
Poor Johnson's Hot Topic.
Do you have a rotisserie chicken for me? Oh.
Do you have a studded belt and a rotisserie chicken?
The one moment though where it does seem like so much fucking fun. They have the band playing, and they have he's dressed up with the thing, like he's drunk as fuck, dressed up with the thing, like he's wearing women's clothing, and he's dancing for everybody with the like thing over his face, like he's doing doing like almost an Egyptian dance, and that's the moment where that's the moment where his girlfriend finally flips out.
He
and goes,
became
like,
president.
What the fuck are you people doing? They're like, you guys are weird, like real weirdos, and like, but it's like I don't know. It seems pretty fun to hang out with those weirdos in that moment, right? Like,
it's a good time.
Totally. Yep.
Ed Wood calling Vampira was the first documented occurrence of the simp phoning the e-girl.
Yeah.
And I can't quite tell, like in that scene, because he's finally single. It's like he's trying to like fuck Vampira, but then. A couple scenes later, he's like, "You just want to be in the movie? You want to hang out? You want to do this thing? I'm free. Like, you want to get dinner? Like,
hey,
she's just,
I did,
bro. She's just not that into you."
I did get to see Vampira's grave at Hollywood Forever when we played in LA for my birthday with Watt, and it was pretty cool. There was a lot of ephemera around, including a glow in the dark like hockey mask. Okay, that's not Vampira, but okay.
No. What year did she die?
You know.
Well, she sued Elvira, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So I mean, 2008. Okay.
Elvira. Her real name is.
She tried to sue and she failed.
Yeah. I mean, and also like whatever happened to women elevating each other? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Her real name is like well, at least her stage name is Mila Nurmi. She's Finnish.
That's
like,
right. Yeah.
Her clean cut, like her earlier clean cut look is actually like, she's very pretty, but like it's a very different look, I think, than the
well, it's like when you see Cassandra Peterson not in her Elvira makeup, she's like a totally different woman.
I'm like, what? No, you're not a real person. You're Elvira. You're not someone else.
My heart's on fire, Elvira.
I wonder if she felt the same thing that Paul Rubens felt when it came to being Pee Wee Herman 24/7. You know.
How is Sarah Jessica Parker screaming, "These movies are terrible"? Not a meme.
Yeah.
Good question.
Huh. Let's you know what? Let's make it happen.
I'm gonna do my part.
Yeah.
It's a meme. These movies are terrible. These are iPhone movies.
Those are the Letterboxd one-liners for Ed Wood. Please follow the show at our Letterboxd HQ account at Movie Night Extra, where you have all the great stuff from the show, as well as short-form content, attendant, supplemental material, et cetera, all available on there. Your host over there, at Always Flacco, Forrest, Bela Lugosi is a hero. And you can follow him
in this house.
In this house.
Bela Lugosi.
He's a hero.
He played Dracula is what he did. And in this house, Bela Lugosi's the hero. End of story.
Follow him for all the stuff he's logging for this show and many more things other than that. I, of course, am at Conan Neutron. We don't have a permit. Run! Great scene, by the way.
literally be in college trying to make films yeah, like
I'll get into in final thoughts, but hard
with like an assortment of drag queens and transvestites, like
hard relatable. Follow me at Letterboxd for the highbrow, the midbrow, the populous fair. Criterion Challenge 2026 underway. I started early. I usually do that, but follow me along with that. You can do the Criterion Challenge with me as well if you feel so inclined. I've been logging stuff like
the Criterion Channel is what he did. The Criterion Channel is what he did. In this house, Conan Neutron's a hero. End of story.
I don't have the touring's done for the year, as I'll mention the plugs, but it's I'm going to be watching a lot of movies. So follow me if you want to follow along for that. Glenda or Glenda, Adam, Kristina Oaks down there is on Letterboxd. She is logging stuff from the show as well as many others. Follow along for that. Daniel Huss, I don't believe you have a Letterboxd account. This is not peer pressure. I just want to make sure.
I actually do, but I don't offhand remember my handle because I haven't logged in for quite a while.
Well, we have the plugs to get through, so if you can remember by that time, then you can do it then. Let's hit it with the plugs. That works better when it actually goes. But
if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
So this week, the Tim Sodi episode of Who from the Fucking Champs has just dropped into the main feed. So great, you don't hear a lot from that guy ever. And this now means that if I'm trying to do my Fucking Champs collector's set, then I would only need one more because I've had, of course, Phil Manley as well as Tim Green both on the show in the past. The Top Records of the Year episode, where I list my favorite records from the year 2025. That is dropping tomorrow at the time of this recording at noon. So you can find that out. It's a lot of work to put together. I bitch about it every year, but I still do it. And then people say they find a lot of good music that way, and that is why I do it. So ProtonicVersal.com, Patreon.com/ProtonicVersal, $1 a month for advance access. So continue joining as a patron if you haven't already. I think there's going to be 1 or 2 episodes dropping next week as well. We'll see. This is always kind of a weird time of year, so I try not to make too many promises, but lots of good stuff coming up in January as well. Conan Neutron, the Secret Friends, as mentioned, done touring for the year. The LA show and the Doll Hut show in Anaheim were the last shows of the year. I'll have some stuff to announce coming up in March. Fairly soon, probably by the time we're well away in January. Neutronfriends.bandcamp.com, Way of the Neutron. You can purchase CD, vinyl, as well as leftover tour T-shirts, things like that. Digital, available on all the streaming services. Check it out. We have, I think, 2 more videos coming before we do the next tour date drop. And Caterwaul news coming up as well. We're going to start doing pre-order sales for Caterwaul proper sometime in the next 3 weeks. So more about that when that comes in. They will not be discounted this time, though. They will be full price. So miss the boat otherwise. But again, the like limited pre-sale was like seriously like 20 minutes or something. It was like pretty impressive, frankly, if you ask me. As far as giving us money, it was pretty impressive. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Kristina, what do you have?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be, once we're done with the after party, I'm at like midnight or whatever. I'm gonna start my 24-hour Christmas stream with the K. We're gonna watch holiday classics like both Home Alones, because those are the only 2 that matter. Richie Rich's Christmas Wish, which is basically A Wonderful Life but for the kids. It really is. It really is like that. We're gonna watch.
You gotta call like another name for a future Christmas stream, AMK. You know, like AMC, like the channel, because they do the 24-hour Christmas movie thing. Do the AM Christmas.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you know, and watch classic Christmas themed episodes and Christmas sketches. That one on SNL they did with the random Peacock random Christmas duets had me laughing so hard because whoever played Benson Boone, are you okay? You did 2 backflips, and then I mean that shit was funny. I'm gonna miss Bowen Yang because I'm like, who really is there left on SNL? But you know, whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing that and hoping to raise funds to get my car fixed. And
so you're doing this show, which is over 2 hours now, and the after party, and then doing a 24-hour stream, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who's your drug
We're not
supplier?
doing
What's their number? Wow.
Well,
we're not doing our we're not doing our show tomorrow because I got to get in the car in the morning and go to Long Island.
Absurdity Space is going to be back next week, though, right? That's
Absurdity Space is going to be back on New Year's Eve. We're gonna we're trying to think of lists of Conan. If you do your end of year music list, you can come on if you want and do some end of year music stuff. I'm trying to make a movies list and like.
We already established I ain't doing anything, so what am I to say? I'm busy. I'm real busy. Rewatching the Never Ending Story. Okay.
It's an hour, so it goes by faster than maybe not faster than you think. Because we've tried doing stuff in an hour and it really doesn't go by fast. But it
depends on what you're talking about. But I'd be happy.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. We do the Christmas, Anyway.
Oh, so
sounds like a dance craze.
Apparently, like I was just scrolling around on Wikipedia. Scrolling around on the old Wikipedia, where Vampira actually met Bela Lugosi, and I guess like probably by extension Ed Wood. They were on the Red Skeleton show doing doing skits.
Red Skeleton.
And so they had Lon Chaney, Bela Lugosi, and Vampira doing skits together.
That makes more sense.
I'm gonna look that up in the after party.
See if it's on YouTube. Yeah. I do love where like they're watching one of Bella's old movies and like Vampira comes on. Oh, I just hate when she interrupts the movie like that. I think she's a honey. Great. That's
I love. He goes,
good
look.
Stuff.
He goes, look at those jugs.
And then he's like casting. That's great. Then they start bolstering.
He's also doing. He does the hand thing, and then like you could really tell. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what the real fucking Ed Wood was kind of like. You could tell like how much Johnny Depp's character is like a sponge in this. Like,
kind of imprinting on him.
Like because he's like trying to do the same thing. He's like, you must be double jointed. You must be Hungarian.
The must be double jointed is good, and the must be Hungarian is great.
Yeah, but there's the thing that he does every time with his own lines, where he's mouthing his lines in the background or whatever, whenever he writes like a speech or something like that. It's like genuinely in a real life an annoying habit when I see people doing that, but in this movie it's like it's endearing.
It's charming.
Yeah,
it's a sweet movie.
It is.
But
D-House.
D-House. Yeah.
Yes.
What
do you got for
plugs?
plugs?
You got anything you want to plug?
Well, I mean, the main thing I'm plugging these days is the new Creative Asylum podcast. It's only 3 months old at this point. A new episode just dropped today with Dave Markey to sort of semi-promote his soon-to-release film, which is probably his best film. It hasn't out yet, but it's called The Secret Lives of Bill Bartell. But I'm really just kind of getting ready for the next season. I've got, half a dozen episodes already recorded and in the queue, and the first 4 starting in January are pretty cool. Moon Zappa, and then Joe Lally, and then JD Picus, who I know was just recently on Protonic as well.
That's right. Yep.
And then Kira Rossler. And I
friend of the show, Kira Rossler. That's right.
Have you to thank for connecting the two of us.
Yeah,
and
great. Can't
that
wait to hear that
conversation was just like, it felt like I'd known her for years,
Yeah, she's a badass.
And I was gonna be going up to LA for some Christmas plans, but here in Southern California, we are about to get hit with one of the wettest winters in literally decades. So our plans of going up and staying at our friend's place and taking our dog and all that is just like out the window.
So a few years ago, when there was one of those super wet winters, we played with McCluskey. That was one of the West Coast tours we did with them, and it was crazy because driving through Central Valley, it looked like Ireland because everything was so green because there had been so much rain over the winter.
Yeah,
I was like, and I was telling, I don't remember who I was telling, but it was someone that like is not native to California. I was like, yeah, it's never like this, by the way.
Yeah,
it's normally very brown and kind of looks like of mice and men, but
yeah.
Today it looks like Ireland. Okay,
so I'm kind of bummed about that, but it is what it is. I don't feel like a 5.5 hour drive between San Diego and LA, risking life and limb. So
right.
I guess it's going to be a few days of intense movie watching while it's pouring. Something like they're saying like an inch an hour.
Oof, boy, that's flooding territory.
That's a lot of wet.
Yeah.
An inch an hour, of course, is Ed Wood's monster porno.
There you go. I got
it's the working time.
I got some deep dives to do. I got some deep dives. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for having me on. Sorry I wasn't more engaged.
Well, you can engage right now because it's time for you to give final thoughts, Daniel House. How about that?
Oh shit. Well,
it's okay not to have any. But
Ed Wood is probably one of my 2 favorite Tim Burton movies. I've watched it many times over the years. I probably watch it religiously every like 3 to 4 years, pretty reliably. It's one of my favorite Johnny Depp performances. I think that Martin Landau is just astounding in his performance and his. It really is. As far as I'm concerned, it really is his movie. By far and away. And I don't know. Wes Anderson and Tim Burton need to go back to their roots and start making some good movies again. What were you gonna say?
Have you ever? I know Conan's seen it. Have you ever watched Dolemite Is My Name? The Eddie Murphy movie on about Dolemite. That movie on Netflix.
I started to watch it when it came out, and then I kind of got distracted, and I never went back.
That's good. It's a good companion piece.
Same screenwriter. Yeah, same screenwriters, and it's like a very similar.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they've done it's like their I think latest version of like this anti-biopic thing that they do, where it's like a person that like isn't like a great man of history, but is like somebody that you probably should know in the culture, but like don't necessarily know,
right?
That you wouldn't think was going to get their own biopic, and they've done it with like a bunch of different.
Make more of those, maybe that'll inspire people to make.
I really liked Dolemite Is My Name. I haven't seen it since it came out, but
I loved it.
I got fascinated by his stuff and watched a bunch of his movies after that.
I have the original Dolemite movie from 75 on my digital server here.
I watched.
It's another like putting a team together, ragged band of misfits, kind of similar vibe. Yeah.
Maybe I
It's
should
like
go on
the-
a blaxploitation kick over the next few days. That could be
Yeah,
fun.
there you go.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I mean, it's interesting. Like Tim Burton's definitely got like shit for all those people being like all those movies being extremely white, pretty much. And it's like then there's a very similar version of a movie where it's like the entire
Beetlejuice movie.
cast
Let's
is
go on the soul train. There you go. We filled the quota.
the blackest comedian cast you've seen in like in a while. That's like not at least for like a mainstream project like that. It's kind of fascinating. But Kristina, final thoughts.
Probably the most underrated Tim Burton Johnny Depp collaboration. It gets overshadowed often by Edward Scissorhands, even Sleepy Hollow. It's fascinating to me that Tim Burton thought, let me make a movie about this director that no one really knows much about. And let me fib a little, but it works. I mean, it's
Edward
one of many great collaborations. Yeah, exactly. Oh wow, make that the exploitation spoof. But no, like I feel like it is an underrated Johnny Depp performance in general. We all still see Jack Sparrow, but like when he's given something, he puts his all into it, and that's something I can respect because unfortunately Johnny Depp doesn't really get that chance much anymore. But you could really see him shine through, and also Martin's Oscar was well deserved. And pretty good all-star cast, bunch of misfits thrown together, and they made something magical.
Also got best hair and makeup.
Yeah, for
That's
that
right.
Bela Lugosi probably.
Yeah, it was prosthetics, makeup. Yeah, after 4 years, we did finally cover it. Yeah. And it's for Movies About Movies Month. What better time to freaking cover Ed Wood? Come on. What are we doing?
Yeah.
We must talk about movies about movies. This is certainly a movie about movies. Or a movie about...
Maybe not the best movies, but movies nonetheless.
We didn't specify they had to be good.
Yeah. Conan?
Movies about some of the worst movies.
I think a lot of this can be summed up with the conversation he has with Orson Welles in film. The visions are worth fighting for. Why spend your life making someone else's dreams? That is a great tagline for the movie. Because this one is for the dreamers, the creators, people full of heart. Like I said, figure out the craft along the way, right? You surround yourself with other freaks, nerds, and weirdos, outcasts, and people just open hard enough to see the dream. And it is one of the best movies about making movies because of that. Mm-hmm. I saw this right after high school, and friends and I had already been making these kind of short comedic skits and parodies for like this public access TV show. And some of it was good, and some of it was, we'll say, made by very eager high schoolers who were learning on the job, right? And I spent a lot of time afterwards kind of denigrating that art and the experiences as being slipshod and amateur, unprofessional, and essential, especially as I moved on to do other quote-unquote real things with art. But I had missed at that point the art of creation, the act of expression. The idea of making cool stuff with your friends is one of the bravest, most powerful things you can do, and it's worth celebrating and protecting. And so screw the naysayers, because it was never about them anyway. And this movie is about found family. It's about making cool stuff with your friends with no illusions about fortune and fame. Maybe a few illusions. But it's a powerful movie, and I'm not sure I gave enough credit at the time. It rocks. Revisiting is wonderful, and I had a great time talking about it.
Word.
Thank you.
And so we'll be over in the old after party in a few minutes here, and good times. Movies about movies. The last one we're going to be doing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's going to be
directed by a guy who apparently, I don't know, we haven't heard much about him recently.
Paul Dano, Stan account runner, I guess. I don't know. Daniel Haas, thanks so much for coming on, man. Appreciate you.